Hey y'all. I was my finger was over the wrong button before we started there. That's why it was a second slower to start. Whatever, that's fine. How you doing? It is Monday. Uh, I'll say still being between jobs. There's not much of a difference between like weekends, weekdays, I suppose, other than I guess most of job hunting and interviews and all that happens on the weekdays. But I had a nice weekend, you know, and ready for some Zelda. You know, this has been planned for quite a bit. Um, Basic idea is, last playthrough we did is a campaign of StarCraft 2. The playthrough before that, though, was Wind Waker. And my thought is maybe we will switch back and forth between, like, the StarCraft campaign, the second one, and then switch back to Skyward Sword after that. I don't know. I don't really love Skyward Sword is the problem, and that gives me a little bit of pause, but it might still be a fun playthrough all the same, considering. Yeah, so I don't really have that much else to say before we get started tonight, other than, hello, hope y'all's Monday went well. Mine went pretty good. Um, it was productive for what you can do in between jobs. I'll say that. And it was nice. It was a good day. Let's get into this. Talk about this game. Zelda Twilight Princess. Got it on the GameCube also back in the day. How's the volume? The volume here good. I just used the same volume setting as I used for Wind Waker. Figured probably about the same. Probably about the same overall. Let me just make a new save. We want to be Link. We just need to. Can I move? Let me move this. I'm gonna take this old one and I'm gonna move it to 3 because I am not one to delete a save willy-nilly. And I'm going to take this slot and use it for a new one. This will be our stream file in 1. I had this on the GameCube way back when. Finished it maybe a couple times. I got it again on the Wii U. And I'll say I never finished it. I got stuck in City in the Sky. And I don't know what happened. I just couldn't find my way. And then maybe other games were coming out. What came out in like May of 2016? May 2016 games. Who knows what it was? Maybe it was things coming out. Maybe it was maybe I was just wanting to focus on Mario Maker. Overwatch. Wait, is that right? This is 2016. Let me see. What came out in 2016 May? Uncharted 4. Okay, that makes sense. Battleborn? No, that wasn't it. Super Hot. Ooh, that could have been it. Uncharted was May 10th. Uncharted 4 was pretty damn good. I can see if that was it, why it pulled me away. Overwatch was like the end of the month, so probably not Overwatch, but could have also been Overwatch that pulled me away. Anyway, that said, I think like all the dungeons up to City in the Sky are like really damn good, and I'm happy to have played it. I just noticed there's a light on that's not usually on. Let me turn that light off. Let me turn that light off, and then we will get into this game. We'll start it up and go with the flow, I guess. I will say, if you haven't seen Twilight Princess, if you haven't played it, it does start with a very lengthy tutorial. I don't want to say tutorial. It's not really teaching you anything. It's more of a very long prologue where Link is just a simple farm boy. And how does that change? I guess you will see. 1 second, let me turn off that an overhead light that shouldn't be on. Alright. Here we go. Twilight Princess HD, Link, Simple Farmboy. Let's find out what is going on. Epona will be our host, and we'll be in normal mode. I see Can the Man is here. Said so in chat earlier. That's nice. I appreciate people saying hello. Even if you just want to, if you just want to do like a thing, you can always do !lurk, and that makes a message appear that says like, "Oh, I'm just hanging out, not chatting. Don't worry about it," which is always a nice thing to see. I think for like any streamer, you know. Tell me, do you ever feel a strange sadness as dusk falls? They say it's the only time when our world interacts with theirs. Only time we can feel the spirits that have left our world. I will say I do have cards that I could use if, if things call for it, but let's just see the plot and see what happens. That is why loneliness always pervades the hour of twilight. It's meaningful. This is Twilight Princess. Enough talk of sadness. I have a favor to ask of you, Link. I was supposed to deliver something, but you're gonna do it. Yeah, sure. Why is this guy so sad? What happened? I have never been to Hyrule. It's a great castle. It's Castle Town. Community far bigger than our little village. And far bigger than Hyrule is the rest of the world. You should look upon it with your own eyes. We'll be doing that. That's the plan here. I think most of the game is in Hyrule. So that's most of what we'll see, but we'll absolutely be seeing a whole lot of the world. Kind of a melancholy intro. I guess for a melancholy emo game. It's kind of emo in its ways, right? Like, you think of Midna. Midna is like an emo icon, I guess. Or like a gothic icon. And these guys are just a bunch of sad sacks wallowing in their very nice mountain town that looks pretty fucking chill. You know? Like, look at this shit. They got a nice spring that they can look at. Some nice woods. Right, see you, buddy. He's got a daughter and a pregnant wife. Why is he so sad? Well, maybe the burdens of parenthood, the fear of monsters. I don't know that there are monsters in this world yet. I feel like Ganondorf has yet to introduce them. Lady is taking my horse.
Hey!
What's up? I'm not sure, by the way, which corner I should have my camera be at. But we'll work it out as soon as, like, our hearts appear and I have the option, have the cause to move around. I just saw Epona. She went that way with a lady. Okay. So my hearts and stuff are over here. So let's see now. I can move over to here. That'll work. I could also move here. That's, let's see. Is that low enough? Let me see. 1 second. Whoops. That is not the right scene. 1 second, folks. What the? Oh, I shouldn't. Okay. That I accidentally clicked with my mouse and something's wrong with the Okay, there we go. Just lost the gameplay for a second. Capture cards in OBS, they can be weird sometimes. Oh, this is actually a perfect spot. Look at this. I had to move my activity feed out of the way so I could see it on the preview monitor. This is actually halfway between the map and the UI bullshit. So that's actually ideal. Let's have this be the place for my camera. This here playthrough. I'll tell you, Wind Waker didn't have a map on the screen, despite you were expected to use your gamepad for that. So, you know, it's nice in this case to have a thing to look at. Where am I gonna put the activity feed on the preview monitor? It doesn't matter. I'll put it above my head. There we go. Cool, cool. All right, perfect. This was always the realistic Zelda game that, you know, people were clamoring for back in the day. You know, can't say... Personally, I think I would prefer the style and energy of Wind Waker. But it does have more dungeons. A lot more of them. And they are, on the whole, better than dungeons have ever been in the series. That said, it also is, like, approaching the bloat that you would see in, like, Skyward Sword. That, you know, eventually when they got right down to it, they were like, no. Okay, we need to stop doing games like that because they are just way out of control. I feel like Skyward Sword was very well received at the time, but I feel like as time has gone on, and especially as Wind Waker, or sorry, and when Breath of the Wild especially came out and like you know, took the series in a whole new direction, and it became clear that like, yeah, as far as we know, unless they do like an Assassin's Creed Mirage thing and like return to the old style of Zelda games after like 8 years or something. They could do a Mirage type thing. It's not like they haven't returned to older styles of Zelda before. Like 2D Zeldas have come back before. Have they, or do remakes not count? Not sure how you chalk that up, but you know, there is the possibility that in time they will return to the style of Zelda. But once it became clear that they're not making any more of these, it kind of was clear. It was kind of like immediately clear that like, okay, Skyward Sword is the lowest, and you can basically go in like order of creation, and from top to bottom, with maybe like the first three moving around. I would probably put Ocarina below Wind Waker, and put Majora's Mask at the top, but you know, I'm sure there are others that have just literally start with Ocarina at top, then Majora, then Wind Waker, then Twilight Princess, then Skyward Sword. That said, through all these games still do have strengths. You know, and I'll say like the dungeon design got better and better and better and better. It's just that everything that wasn't dungeon got worse and worse and worse and worse at the same time. Hello, horse. Oh, talk to the lady. Yeah, I'm trying to... I'm gonna ride my horse. Alright, we got a horse. Now to go do some, you know, work on the farm. A little bit of a farming minigame. I'll tell you what I didn't say earlier, but was in the starting soon screen description. My aim for tonight, try to get to the first dungeon. Try to get through the first dungeon. I'm not sure how long in that first dungeon is. I remember it being quite a ways. It's probably the longest a Zelda game has gone before the first dungeon. That's not true. Breath of the Wild and Twilight and Tears of the Kingdom obviously generally go longer than this game, probably because they're not about dungeons. In a traditional Zelda game, this is... Well, actually, hang on. Skyward Sword. Ooh, fuck. Skyward Sword also has a pretty slow start. It's one of those two. Has the longest time to dungeon, I would have to reckon. Well, wait a minute. What about Majora's Mask, actually? Majora's Mask also is pretty long. Yeah, we gotta herd some goats. Whoop whoop. You hit the A button to whoop whoop. Goat in. I guess Wind Waker is pretty long if you consider that, first Forsaken not to be a real dungeon. You know, if you think that Valoo is the first dungeon, then that's pretty far in. Majora's Mask, you have to go through the whole prologue and then pretty much all the forest stuff before you get to the first dungeon. That's actually a ways into... But I guess, you know, I'll say the stuff in Majora's is really good. In Wind Waker, it's like dungeon adjacent stuff. Like you're doing stealth stuff. You're wandering around a... Oh, there's no timer here. We don't have to worry. Good, okay. Thought for a second there'd be a timer. There'd be a minigame. I guess actually the average time to dungeon in a 3D Zelda is pretty long. But this is the only one where you are literally wrangling goats and just doing farm work up until the start of the part where it becomes a game, you know? You actually get to see a little bit of Link's life and, you know, you can just start with the adventure. Start the story where it starts, you know? I think that's good. Link, Pona, much obliged. I can't cover everything tomorrow, so you're gonna have to come by and do goats again. Okay, we're gonna practice fences. So yeah, we could practice fence. What the fuck? I guess they made this fiddly enough where you do need to practice. Jesus Christ. You know what? It was probably fiddly already, wasn't it? There we go. Run at the thing and it'll jump over. Come on. I'll say that's kind of annoying. Just let me jump over a fence. It shouldn't be that hard. Shouldn't be that precise. In this game, we have to do a whole bunch of farm life stuff. There's a whole bunch of Dark Realm stuff. I do want to save. That's you know. Yeah. And we'll save manually a bunch, I think. Considering that last time we did lose some progress once and had to postpone a stream until I like replayed the area that I played before. Not good. Wake up, it's morning. Here's the other part of living on a farm. Living in a rural community. I guess Ocarina Link also lives in a rural community, except that it's more of a magically rural community. You know, like wood nymphs and shit. Whereas, in this case, he just lives in a small town full of humans, or Hylians, whatever the fuck. Does he have a dark basement with nothing in it? Okay. I guess, why should there be a chest for him to open down there? It's his own house. If he had a chest with money on it, he'd just be on his person. I assume. talk to these kids. I'll say, I don't know if this is an uncommon opinion. I really, really never liked the design of these children. The shopkeeper baby, most especially, I found to be entirely repulsive. The foreheads are too big. Ugh. I don't know. This kid was born into a... What the fuck did he say? Born to a family with a slingshot? Slingshot from the shop. They want the slingshot from the shop. So, am I being prompted to go buy a slingshot? Hey, what are you doing? Oh, I think I said daughter. Now I'm feeling sons. I think this guy's a lad. Yeah, okay, so they all wear tunics and skirts. I guess I'm wearing that as well, so it's not unusual. There are other signifiers for, like, being a lady, I guess. Like, specifically... Well, actually, no. They all have corsets on, actually. Look closely. Too much clothing in this game. The corset, I feel like that's a... Is that like a traditional Japanese or some other culture manner of dress? Is this like a real thing? It must be a real thing. Well, that's just an apron. Aprons are real. It must be a real thing. Hey, buddy. I don't mind the old guys looking weird. Like, that's how they should probably look. They should look, like, weird and like, all angular. And have, like, weird facial hair. That's good. That's the right vibe for an old fella. But for a kid, nah, it should be, like, more kid-like. I don't know. How about a card while we're just walking around throwing some pumpkins, getting, like, a tiny amount of money. We need to buy, like, a thing. I prepared a number of cards, as I do.
Hey.
The food has money in it! The food has money in it. I need the money. I'm sorry. Don't hide money in your food. And I won't throw it. Also, it grows back pretty quickly. Like, look, it's already most of the way back. Here's a card. Remember fries. Weird first card to start on, I know, but I was thinking recently about how, you know, the store Fry's no longer exists anymore. They went out of business, didn't they? I liked Fry's. It was always fun to go to a Fry's and to be like, oh shit, look at all this selection, you know? They were very much like Best Buy, but if Best Buy was actually, like, committed to having items that are, like, interesting and different and you can't find places. I guess. You know? Versus just being, like, a regular run-of-the-mill ass store. And I'll also say, like, this PC that I made, I got a lot of the components at Fry's, and when there was an issue, like, in building, I just gave it to them and said, okay, here's 50 bucks. Just build it for me. Just get it working. I don't give a fuck. Whatever, man. And, you know, they got it working. And honestly, I think I would rather just do that again versus, like, mess around with wires and all that stuff. But they don't exist anymore, so what can you do? I think I saw that some other like, outlets and companies do still offer that service in reality. I'm not sure if it's, like, always a local thing or whatever. But, you know, I have thought about, like, getting a new PC at some point. I guess at this point I will wait until I have a new gig, you know, but it would be good to get a new PC at some point. This one has some troubles with some things that we like to do on the stream. The fuck is this? And it'd be nice to, on occasion, not have to worry about performance when playing a PC game or whatever. How is releasing bees a good thing? Don't know why I did that. Whatever, bees are released. Sure. That's money. I want that money. No! Jeez, Link is like... How old do you think Link is? Like... I feel like this Link is at least... like 18. He's like 17, 18. He's just climbing up on rocks trying to get 20 bucks someone left on top of a small hill. And just going, oh, yeah, okay. Can't think to go get a box, though. No, that would be unsporting. Look at that, someone left 20 bucks there. Okay. One more try? I don't know. How many rupees do we need to get the slingshot? That's my goal for today. For this, like, chunk of gameplay. I wonder if the bird can do it. You think the bird can do it? Okay, let's not try the same thing over and over again. We're gonna try the bird. Can bird get money? I have wondered before if originally, like, this whole, like, reed system where you pick up a reed and do a song real fast, if that was originally, like, supposed to be an instrument. And you could just, like, summon these guys at any time. Or, like, do the other such things that in previous Zelda games would totally require, like, a song. You know? Maybe they just, like, found that there were not really good ways to restrict where you can use the bird. Or, you know... That and, like, having to go into a menu every time and do, like, a 20-second thing to summon a bird. That must get old fast. And I'll say... Okay, bird cannot get money. I'll say that, like... It's hard to compare to, like, the vibes of the older games, you know? And, like, playing instruments to warp places was really cool for the time. But I gotta admit, it is better in this game. That, like, the warp system is just like, hey, hit one button and then select something out of a menu, and then select a location you want to go. You know, and the same for, like, transformations as well. And other such things, you know. It's better here. Even if it has less flavor and less vibes. Let's go over there and call our bird. As this guy was suggesting. I wouldn't mind a new PC. I say I wouldn't mind, that's a weird thing to say. I would like one soon. My PC was making noises for a while, but that's just the fans. It'll probably be fine so long as it doesn't overheat. No, or the fans don't stop working. Or do... So long as they continue working just fine most of the time, it'll be fine. I'll say I have had some minor performance issues recently. Some of the alerts recently have been all screwy and not coming in right. And I think the reason is... because I have a pretty elaborate setup wherein, like, 100 alerts trigger at once, technically, in the case of raids and subs. And that ends up meaning that each individual one of them takes a bit of time and delays the one that matters in a way that kind of is a bummer. In particular, if ever there's, in the case of a sub-gift, there are supposed to be, like, 100 rocket, up to 100, you know. And basically, what it does is it checks how many subs were gifted and makes that many rockets appear. And the thing is, that's 100 checks, even, basically 100 alerts trigger even if you can't see them behind the scenes. Really, it'd be nice if I could, like, and I have given thought to this, right? I have given thought to, like, could I do a thing like TITS, right? Where it's just like a single window that is programmatically drawing the rockets rather than using the bootsy-ass setup that is that performs badly through stream elements. I think the answer is maybe. I don't know. I guess I have time right now to screw around with that. And be good practice while I'm between opportunities. We found a cradle, so now we have to follow this lady back to her house. She walks very slowly. They went too far in a couple of places with this game. How about another card while we're walking? Follow up on Unity. Speaking of things that you can make things in, I guess that's a stretch. I didn't specifically say an engine or I don't even know if there are like alert engines you can build custom alerts in that are like, you know, just call code directly, you know, on your local machine. I should look further into that, see if those like exist. I have heard of a couple, but I don't want anything really heavy. Just want something relatively light that just draws some images and makes things fly across the screen when I want them to, based on how many of whatever come through. You know, how many people in a raid, how many subs in a sub, bits in a bit cheer, etc. And in that case, it could also be like, go off to infinity, you know, whereas the current one is constrained by how many I can make manually. Anyway, Unity. Let's talk about that. Why not? I did see after last Friday's stream that there had been a statement from the guy, from like the Unity guy, and he said, "I'm sorry. We're gonna raise the limits for who the install thing applies to. We're gonna do this. We're gonna do that. Yada yada yada. Long story short, they're still gonna do it." But it's going to affect maybe slightly fewer people. She's looking for her cat. It's a weird fucking intro. So much stuff here. Anyway, tell you the truth, I saw it and I thought, honestly, I'm not that impressed. I see it, and it just looks like a bunch of bullshit to me. Just looks like a whole bunch of, yeah, here's the plan, here's what we're doing. We're still going to do it, but hopefully in a way that pisses less people off. I will say the one thing that is good is that they said, like, okay, you know what, it's not going to apply retroactively anymore. It's only going to apply to games that come out, that start development, like, after it goes into effect. But still, I do think like people are going to have to seriously think about not making their next game on Unity if they were going to. This cat will not come to me. I know I need to use how do I do items? I can make them appear on screen. Oh, this is the collection, not items. Oh, weird. On the the gamepad now, it's just like a grid of icons. In the original game, wasn't it a circle, a big circle, so that you couldn't tell like how many items were in the game? Because they figured like, well, if you show the amount of items in the game, people figure out how many dungeons there are, and they can set their expectations accordingly. Fish on! What the fuck is this? It's the weirdest fucking thing. The fucking big arm motions here. Do you really just like... Is that how fishing do? I don't know. I don't fish, so I can't speak to it. I've watched a fishing anime or two. Do I just, like, hold the thing aloft? That seems weird to me. Just, like, fishing by just holding a stick upright. I guess this is how they fished, like, back in the day. You know, they didn't have reels to go, like, you know, just to do, you know? We need to fish until we get... Okay, I'm just gonna hold the button. I'm not gonna go like, woohoo. That's silly. And also seems counterproductive. Another card. Second Streamiversary ideas. I've thought a bit about the upcoming Streamiversary, which will be November 3rd. And I want to do a big long stream for that. I expect, you know, I'll say, I expect probably we'll still be between jobs at that point, you know, and I'll say, like, I probably would not, even if I could get something down, I probably would not start it before such a stream. I'd kind of like to have a bit of a break between, like, things, even if I got one locked down. Honestly, we'll want to spend a few weeks after I got something locked down to just relax and, you know, not have to worry about about things for a while. Anyway, so November 3rd will be a Streamiversary stream, and I've thought about it, and I've decided on the following. It's going to be on a Friday, and Fridays are traditionally viewer levels, so that'll be part of it. Which, hey, it also makes sense. It's sort of my main thing, so it should have viewer levels in some capacity. And it's just gonna have viewer levels. All lightning round style, I think, will be the thing. But also, before that, I'm going to play through all of I'm gonna play through all of Banjo-Kazooie all in one session. Is this right? The cat doesn't seem to be taking an interest in my fish. Not sure. Let's fish a few more fish. Anyway, my plan will be to do Banjo-Kazooie all in one session, which I'll say, you know, my time in that game is pretty, you know, fairly decent, fairly low. Like, I can usually do it in like 6 to 8 hours, maybe more like 7 on average. But I've never done it all in one session. Usually, I think I just take it like a world at a time and just say like, okay, you know, that's good enough for tonight. You know, I take it very chill. I like to pace myself a little bit, and I think it is time. I think it'd be fun to do it all in one big session. And probably 100%. It doesn't feel right in Banjo-Kazooie to not get 100%. Maybe we have to fish somewhere else. Okay, I've lured the cat over. maybe the cat will be interested in this. I don't think it feels right to get less than 100%, but maybe I could do any percent as well. Would that be fun? Maybe I could, like, I don't know, skip Mr. Vile. I really don't like Mr. Vile. I really do not care for that man, Mr. Vile. Maybe we could get, like, everything except... you only need 98 Jiggies to get everything you can get possibly with Jiggies. What Jiggies would I skip other than Mr. Vile? Something in the engine room? Engine room is always so risky. There we go. There's the cat now. Got the fish. Okay. What else would we skip other than Mr. Vile? I'm thinking about the last world. Nothing in the last world really jumps out at me as particularly skip-worthy. Rusty Bucket Bay has a few things. There's probably like a minigame or something that I'd, you know, sooner skip than play. I'm sure we'll think of something. I don't know, maybe we'll end up doing 100% just out of, like, you know, it's not that bad, Mr. Vile. It's just, man, I feel like every time now, I don't know. I feel like the last time I fought Mr. Vile, played Mr. Vile, I was like just constantly nerve-wrecked, just like, you know, racing them to all the things. Especially if I do it before getting the speedy shoes, which we'll see. Sometimes I do the entirety of Bubble Gloop Swamp after the following two worlds, just so that I can have boots before I go in and do that. The shoes, I mean. I can have the shoes before. It's debatable, the order of those three levels. The bog, the peak, and Gobi's Valley. Like, those three levels you can justify doing any of them first, within reason. Actually, I guess if I could, I would do Gobi first. I would go to the two previous worlds and grab the moves from them, and then do Gobi's. The problem is I don't think you can actually do that because of no doors. But, you know, you can reorder those levels to a certain degree and probably still be correct, whichever way you end up going. That's a cute cat. I got some milk. Did it say 3 parts? I want to buy something. Milk bee larvae. I'm never gonna use bee larvae, let me tell you right now. Never. I'll never buy bee larvae in this entire game. Slingshot and pellets. Perfect. Hey, I can afford it. All right. Very good. So anyway, that's a plan right now for the Streamiversary stream. Do entirety of Banjo-Kazooie, then viewer levels, and, you know, maybe we'll open the queue for that midway through Banjo. It's gonna be like 6 hours at minimum, so, like, don't expect us to like, you're gonna have to wait if you put in your levels early. But, you know, I'll give people the option for that, I guess. And then I'm thinking about sub goals for that. I have a few ideas as far as, like, one that I have is I want to make it so that 2 of the sub goals are just, like, things that make the viewer levels different, right? At 5 subs, or actually, let's say at 5 subs, I'm thinking, just everyone gets bonus heads. Everyone gets bonus heads during the Mario Maker session, that stream.
Hey.
Hey, something was delivered to our room. At 10, I'm thinking like, I want to do that WarioWare 30-minute thing that I mentioned before. There originally was going to be a channel point thing, but honestly, I'm not... right now, I'm really not looking to have any Mario Maker stream or otherwise be disrupted by a sudden game change for 30 minutes. I'm thinking that's just retired as far as a thing that randomly happens, but I think it could be fun to make it into a whole thing at 10 subs. And also, like, it'll be such that, we'll put it to a vote, poll, you know, which micro game do I have to play for 30 minutes? And I'll take some nominees from like subscribers or something. You know, if we get to that sub goal, there will be a number of subscribers, presumably, to nominate some micro games, and hopefully pick out something good and not something nasty for me to like struggle with and waste time with for 30 minutes. Oh, and another thing I'm thinking, for 15, it would be like, during the viewer levels, everyone gets a second level, but only one life's worth. So it'd be do or die, you see? I think that'd be kind of a fun... I've been thinking maybe that'd be a fun idea recently, right? I tried it on some stream where I think... I mentioned before, like, what if everyone got a do or die? One extra life in another level after I finished the level that I was on, something like that. Maybe that could be like a... maybe that'd be a valuable sub incentive, right? If subscribers got an extra level in addition to the bonus heads, one life's worth anyway, I think that'd be kind of cool. And maybe would encourage that in general. And I'm thinking like I'll have it on the table for the streamiversary stream, celebrating 2 years of streaming on Twitch. I think that'd be a cool thing to try out, possibly on that. And at 20 subs, I'm thinking 30 minutes of Ring Fit. I don't know. That seems like a thing that would be funny to watch me play. I am not very in shape. 30 minutes sounds like a lot of strenuous exercise. I usually walk, and I don't usually like Ring Fit because it makes my feet hurt, so I'll say you can make me do that. That'll be a thing for the streamiversary. Also, obviously, after the coming up will be Extra Life, planning possibly multiple 12-hour streams. We'll see how those end up, but my basic plan is to do Mario Party 1 through 8, 50 turns of each, and however many streams that takes, that's Extra Life. And, you know, I'll have to put some good incentives on there, figure out stuff for that as well. I don't know when that'll be. Maybe it'll be, you know, a week or two after the streamiversary. Maybe it'll be some other time. We'll see what makes sense. A little bit of hit stun here. Hit stop. I've watched the Sakurai videos. That's an effective thing to do. Hey buddies, I got your slingshot. This has good music. Isn't this like do 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 do? Yep, exactly. I remember music. I like this song. I don't like these children. Oh, they're terrible. Their foreheads are so big. Their faces are so small. Their proportions are just terrible. They made him really cute in Wind Waker and like attractive to the eye, you know, characters in general. And everyone said, don't do that, do something else. I said, okay, we'll make them nasty. This time they're gonna be nasty. Nasty little gremlin children. Ugh. All right, children. They want to hit. Okay, I'm gonna teach these children how to use a sword. Nothing bad could happen of this. This is a great idea. Camera's a little off. Swing a B. Yeah. Horizontal slice, a vertical slice. That's right, you can do that. That was not a stab. I will say that's a good way to do that. Little kid just going like, that was not a stab. I did press. I'm pressing forward. I'm Z targeting. I'm hitting the button. Do I need to... There we go. Press it shortly. He didn't spin at all. Yeah. There we go, we spun. Oh yeah, the jump attack is important. Jump attack is a top tier move. It's kind of weird in retrospect. I think like in Ultimate, they had it to be the dash attack in that game. It's a pretty important move. Probably should have been there for a while, but you know, they didn't really design characters like that back in the original, you know, Smash Brothers, you know. They didn't just take moves directly from the games. They just sort of, you know, went with more of a vibes-based approach to it, you know? Like, oh yeah, Donkey Kong has big arms, he'd do like a dunk. He's never really... His moves will be like a big punch. Once the last time he punched someone, it'll be like a big spin. Spin around like a monkey. Once the last time he did that. You know, if they were making Donkey Kong today, modern style, they would have it so that... They would have it so that he had like a barrel cannon move in some capacity, and that he had some sort of throwing barrels move, rather than just being a pure low-range melee fighter. Like, if you think about it too much, it doesn't really fit the character. Alright, they're chasing a monkey. We're gonna get pretty far into the forest. Alright, let's chase down this monkey. This is the first time we're going out of town. Let's make it a good trip, I guess. Should I talk to the baby? Let's talk to the baby. I really... He can't tell me anything. He want that... I figured that. Okay, you know what? I guess if they just, like, turn and went into the... Wait a minute. He didn't even point. He didn't even... Okay. I guess I'm just supposed to assume it's this way, which I was assuming anyway. That is one unhelpful baby, actually, come to think of it. One unhelpful baby. I guess babies should not be helpful. I don't know. Not a big baby fan, I'll say. I don't know. I guess that baby does talk. That's a thing babies don't usually do. Maybe more of a toddler, but looks like a baby to me. Call him as I see him. I want another card. I have a fun Paper Mario Rando stream idea that's currently not viable. I was sort of thinking the other day if I could do any sort of, if I could do any sort of, like, you know, any sort of new BizHawk Shuffler stream and I had a bad good idea. Basically, in Paper Mario Randomizer, there's now a thing where you can have you can like set the logic to only require like certain star spirits, and have it so that all the logic is within like a certain subset of the game. What the fuck do I have to call? Do I have to call my horse? You can make it so that all the logic is only within a certain subset of the game, based on which star spirits you have to actually go get. I'm confused, aren't I? I mean, I know I'm confused. Anyway, my idea is this. I want to get 2 seeds, one with chapters 1, 2, 3, and 4 required, and another with chapters 5, 6, and 7 required. Sort of a late game and an early game seed. And switch between them every, like, 5 minutes, let's say. 4 or 5 minutes. Let's say 4 minutes. Whatever. Let's make it a little hectic. Let's make it a little bit of a challenge, you know? And I think that'd be a bit of fun. And I would do a thing where, like, in Paper Mario Randomizer, you can, like, color. You can do, like, custom palettes for your partners and for your Mario. And I would have one with, you know, one set of colors and the other with another set of colors so that we could tell the difference. And maybe also, like, the trackers would be slightly different colors as well. Which I think would be pretty cool. Problem is, there's not a way to, like, specify which star spirits that you can get that like, are required, so I'd have to, like, you know, randomly get them. It's gonna be a little bit, harder. You know, I would have to rely on luck. There's, like, a 1 in 35 chance of getting the right stuff that I want, and also, turns out there's a 10 per hour limit on, generating seeds. So, you know, that's fun. Anyway, I suggested it to the... I made a suggestion to the Paper Mario Randomizer Discord, and we'll see if they, like, implement, like, some sort of thing that would let players specify which chapters they want as options, and that would, make this feasible. Honestly, like, I was thinking... Like, oh my god, this is so good. Originally, I thought of it as an incentive for the, for that, that stream, that anniversary stream. But, it was just so good, I feel like we gotta do it. And, part of me wanted to do it, like, as soon as Thursday. But, then I realized, like, I can't do it right now. It has to get some sort of enhancement. Sometime in the future, for sure, assuming that they get that working, but, get that as an option for us. And for anyone else who wants to specify, you know, what chapters they do and don't want to do. You know, it's not that niche of a thing. People, I'm sure, would find applications for it. This guy's a weird guy. Okay, thank you for the lantern. Thank you for the lantern, dude. Okay. I gotta equip my bottle. Gonna drink my milk. Don't combine oil and milk. What? Oh, just scoop the... Okay, geez, the lighting here. The hell? I don't like the way the lighting looks. I can't unset the lantern once it's been lit. So... We gotta crank, we gotta move. Anyway, I will say, for the Streamiversary stream, I'm thinking about offering, like, as a pie-in-the-sky goal, like, a stream of DK64 Randomizer that's Oops All Beaver Bother again. I think that's nice. I think it's nice to have a, like, punishment game as, like, the big incentive, rather than one that I really want to do and I think would be super fun. You know, at a certain point, I'd just rather do that. You know, it's too good of an idea to not do, like, as soon as possible. So anyway, 2 Paper Mario randomizers at once. We'll see if they make that possible to do sometime in the future. Until that time, just have to, you know, make do. Whatever. Oh, I think I know. These Bobakins? They don't look like Bobakins. They look more like ogres. He's in like a cave over here. I recall. No, wait. This is... Do we have to go in this cave? I don't think we do, actually. But you know what? Let me just... probably unlock a thing. Yep. There we go. How's the audio, by the way? Is it good? Is it, like, too loud? Looks a little... I should take it down a scooch. Just 2 decibels. Yeah, we needed to get that small key. That small key was important. And, God, it's 5 pieces of heart in this game? No, that's not right. I feel like they switched that back, like, before too long. I don't remember how Skyward Sword was, but... You know, Breath of the Wild, Tears of the Kingdom, it's 3. Though it's not Pieces of Heart anymore. I like Pieces of Heart, though. It should always be Pieces of Heart. That's what I say. Okay, let's just walk past these guys. Just gonna walk past these guys too. There's nothing making me fight any of these guys. It's another shop. It's manned by a bird. That's how they explain why the NPC isn't here. Sell you the things you need. Okay. These Bobakins captured the kid and captured a monkey. Put them together. I think it is best practices to use 2 separate cages for your monkeys and your kids. Okay? 2 separate cages. 1 cage, too few. Not right. Get 2 cages. You want to cage up a kid? Second cage. Cage up a monkey? Different cage. You don't want the monkey biting the kid, or vice versa. You know? Keep them separated. Yeah, I saw that. That was a little bit of a forest adventure. His dad saw. I'm not sure if this is his dad. You know, I'm not sure who has sired who here. This guy just might be like a general, like, my mentor, and also like a general, like, you know, guy who goes into the forest looking for kids when they go a little too far. Alright, this is called Orden. Orden. Is that a name in Twilight Princess, in Breath of the Wild? Here's the kingdom. I don't know. Maybe, probably. Probably. I could use some sleep. Yeah, okay, let's finish up. You want me to get on my horse and round up these like, goatee guys again? Hey, we're back to, life on the farm. Back to some good old-fashioned farm living. Goats! And other such things. In this case, they time us. But you know what? It's counting up. It's not counting down, so it's not like a time limit thing. My memory was it was a time limited thing. But I guess it's just long, and I didn't want it to be long. I wanted it to be short. You know, and that was frustrating, even if I didn't have to, like, try it again or something. Imagine if you did have to try it again. That'd be even worse. How about another card? Probably will be doing Amazing Mirror on Thursday. That's coming out on Thursday, and I would like to play just a big old chunk of it. I love that game, and I've never had the pleasure of playing it like with people. And with Game Boy Advance Online, you can now play it with people. And I'll say that, you know, I'll have it so that if you want to join in on Kirby and the Amazing Mirror, you know, show up on Thursday, and I will absolutely get you in. Probably, you know, first come, first serve, I suppose. And, you know, if I were to talk to a friend, and a friend were to say, like, oh yeah, I'll definitely join, I would count that as, like, an RSVP, I guess. I'll say, you know, if you want to RSVP, I guess you could reach out, and I would appreciate that, because it's like, okay, I don't really know if this is going to be multiplayer. Don't really know if, like, people are all that interested in playing it multiplayer, but I have never played it multiplayer, and shit, it seems like that'd be a cool way to play that game. It's just a really cool Kirby game. It's open worldy, there's a lot of great abilities, and just like the way that you explore the world, find new places, connect them back to your central hub, it's just awesome. And also you got some really killer powers, like the best one is the Smash power, which just has like Kirby's entire regular ass kit from Smash Brothers just in there, and it feels pretty good. It's probably like the most versatile one in the game. It rules. There's also some stuff with like Shadow Kirby and some plot. That's not important. What is important is just exploring and like seeing a whole bunch of all 8 areas in the game. So that'll be Thursday. I don't think I have any other plans, and I'll say like next week I am thinking I will be out of town for like the weekend. So I'm thinking right now that Friday viewer levels, maybe we'll do them on Thursday. Do Thursday evening viewer levels, Thursday morning, I'm not sure. You know, I have time now. I can move things around. Not this week. Again, I'll say not this week, but next week maybe it'll be more of a Thursday type deal. I'm thinking. And that'll help with, you know, scheduling things around. I'll also say, like, probably won't be around Columbus Day weekend. So, you know, the Monday that for, like, the next Twilight Princess stream, the one after next, the third one, probably will be, like, a day late, 2 days late, something like that. Maybe a Thursday stream. Just do it as a Thursday stream. That makes sense. I don't know what he's saying. Oh, am I being sent on an errand now? Right, that was the whole thing. No, she's not. Hey, come on. Okay, she's the chieftain's daughter. The mayor's daughter, not chieftain. Some of these lines are disappearing before I've read them. Sure, it's fine. I guess they're like deliberately paced. Like, is this one gonna go away without me hitting a button? No, I think these guys are just gonna stare slack-jawed until, you know, the moon were to fall. You know? Okay. They're going off to the spring. Is she injured? I didn't see an injury on her leg. Whatever. It was probably the Bob Hopkins that did it, not me, you know? Anyway, Amazing Mirror on Thursday. If you're interested in, like, joining in, be there live. Goat got loose! Fucking, I remember this minigame. Oh, ah! We put it on its back and it just, like, starts limping back. Okay, I'm good. I'll be good. I got my ass kicked by Link. I'm heading back. It could have just gotten up and kept running. Kept walking, at least. But, no, we showed it who's boss. Yep. Yeah. That guy's a guy. Learn something new every day. Well, I probably knew that. Well, no, I don't think that much. I even back in the day, I don't think I thought that much about the extended cast of Twilight Princess. If I were saying, and maybe this is controversial, I would say the weakest element of Twilight Princess isn't like bloat, isn't like backtracking, isn't like any weird sudden, like, isn't like a too much between dungeons. I would say the weakest part is the character designs. They are terrible. And also, I don't care about the characters by extension. As people, you know? We didn't tell. I didn't tell. They saw. They heard. No, sorry, kid. Dude, you can't stop us. These fucking kids. Okay, go ahead. I know the game is telling me that you have no choice but to do it. I guess that's the end we'll see of the wooden sword. We'll get a real sword next time we have a sword. Such a long wind-up. Alright, leaving town? Leaving town. Let's do it. Very tranquil, I guess, Link's life before stuff starts to happen. Okay, I'm not gonna change my attitude. But I will crawl through a hole. And I think this will set off a major piece of stuff going down, which will be like the next thing. We're not gonna get to Castletown. I'll say it that way. Well, not this stream, maybe. Well, we might pass through it technically, but not in the way that we are now. Have you ever crawled through a thing? That seems... Not as an adult, no. I don't know. I feel like you'd have to worry that, like, it might come down on you, you know? You might get buried. Even if it's really compact dirt. You know? Dirt is dirt. Might fall, you know? The injury isn't too serious, but Leek, can you at least promise me this? No matter what happens, don't do anything out of your league. Come home safely. The lips don't look good. His lips look good. You know what I'll say? Link's lips look good. Her lips do not look good. What? Okay. Fucked up by some guys on a pig. Oh, that's... Oh, no. Don't be weird about it. There's a big guy on a pig. Fight him later. He's in the stage in Smash Brothers. So you've probably figured that out. That he's a big deal. On the bridge stage. The bridge of Elden? These guys make pig noises despite not having any piggy features. That's interesting. So they're still Bob kids and they're still like pig derived. Even if they don't look it. Ugh. Alrighty then. The basic look of enemies changes so much in this franchise. It's not really a big deal. Alright. Weird barrier door. And a hand comes out and grabs us and we're pulled into Twilight. Hey. What's good? We just got pulled into Twilight and I think we're about to do some like wolf stuff. Because we're the hero of time, they cannot touch us. That's weird. Hang on. Does that happen any other time in the game? No, I'm pretty sure they, like, attack you all the time. I guess they don't grab you, though, because you'll totally, like, use the Triforce at them. That's right. This is the game where you transform into a wolf. I said that 5 seconds ago before it happened. You probably knew. You've maybe seen the amiibo. If you bought this game on the Wii U, you would have seen the amiibo. And also, it's probably also on the box arts. All the promotional materials. You probably knew you could transform into a wolf. And that you would be meeting a lady, an imp called Minna, who is very popular. Okay, I'll say this. Minna's alright. I'm not fond of any of the other character designs, but Minna's character design, it's alright. She's a weird imp with hand hair. The hand hair is good for gameplay purposes because it sort of like goes along with the Z targeting in weird ways. And she's a little bit feisty too, you know? That's not bad. That's a character. That's probably one of the better like spirit characters that is like your guide. I would take Minna over Tattle and Tail and Navi. I guess Tattle and Navi, and Tail was like the brother of Tattle. I'd put Tattle over Navi. And Tail is not really a companion, so doesn't get rated. I'd put Minna over those two. Yeah, I'm sure. Huh? Okay. Arf. It's funny seeing her like do like full lip movements while it's just like you know, just like random like clips that have no connection to the mouth movements. The laugh is good though. I think at the time, didn't people like take, weren't like some reviews like taking shots at that? At Twilight Princess being like, yeah, it doesn't have like voice acting yet. It's kind of weird at this point in history. I don't know. I don't believe you need voice acting in Zelda. And like, even in like a regular RPG, full voice acting is not always the thing, you know? There's a lot of RPGs where just most of the dialogue is just, you know, is just text, and they don't get someone into a recording booth for it. I think it is weird that they are making like they are talking. They are making like some clips and sounds that sort of sound like talking, and there's lips movements, but it's not really talking. That to me is the weird part. If they hadn't like drawn attention to it, maybe the reviewers wouldn't have noted it, I guess. Alright, let's go. Alright. Minda's gonna ride us in a normal, regular way. You know, as a woman rides a dog, Jesus. As an imp rides a dog. Let's say an imp. It's normal. This is just how she do. I'll say I like it in fiction sometimes when there's like smaller characters riding like big wolves or something. Wolves are a fun mount. You know, the idea of a mount that has like big fangs and can be like bite and shit. That sounds fun. Spirits. Yes. Anyway. Dog stuff, let's go. It. So anyway, we're gonna run around as a dog. We're gonna kill some of these like weird rat guys. We're gonna see a big cutscene. Now, if we were anything, we didn't have the Triforce, we would ended up like these guys, but we're not like them, so we ended up getting just being normal, you know. Oh, another card. We're just gonna be like running around labyrinths for a bit. Finished Mortal Kombat 1. Reboot of the Mortal Kombat series where the timeline was reset. Still a lot of continuity from the last game since like the reasons it was reset are very important. Like time stuff continues to be a big factor. It's all still very interesting and just makes for basically a good 7-hour like original Netflix style show where it's just like, oh, it's martial arts. These are characters that you like. They're very well realized. And, like, yeah, this story is pretty good. I'll say that's about where I landed on. I think the story is pretty good. I think the combat is not really for me. I sort of find it to be a little bit stiff, a little bit hard to get the handle around. And, while the characters do look better than ever, I guess, it is a little bit disappointing that there's fewer of them than there were at than in Mortal Kombat 9 at launch. Kind of unfortunate, really. that you know, in order to that the scope had to be lower than previous entries rather than higher. I assume it has to be just like a consequence of, you know, graphical fidelity going up so much. But to me, it doesn't make that much of a difference. Anyway, I'd probably say 4 out of 5. The last arc is really, really good. The last, like, arc, the rest of the story mode is pretty decent as well. But, like, there's only so far a story mode can bring the thing together. When first I played Mortal Kombat 9, first time playing, like, a Mortal Kombat game back then, I found to be, like, approachable, and the systems to be, like, not that hard to figure out, and to the point where I literally did consider at the time, like, oh, should I try to get really good at one character? And I picked out, like, Cyrax, or I forget if it was Cyrax or the other one. I think it was the red one, the one who's colored red. I thought the robots were cool, so I played the robots. I thought the robot was cool, so I decided to play the robot, and, you know, actually believed I could make a go out of it. It doesn't go anywhere, because I'm not good at fighting games, and, you know, it is what it is. It's a fighting game. Ugh. But I had a good time, and I was able to believe that I could really get into it. Whereas this one, I just felt like, yeah, it's fun. I had a really great time going through the story. I think they should have probably figured out how to make it so that you could pause in the middle of a chapter, between chapters, and, like, resume at a later time, starting from exactly where you left off. Or it has a problem where if you do that, you might lose progress. Or otherwise, you know, you'll have to start the cutscene at the end of the previous chapter, rather than at the, where the chapter divide is. Awkward. And I feel like after so many years... After so many years, they should have figured out by now how exactly to make that work. Ooh. A little tired, didn't sleep that much last day or so, you know. Too much just focused on doing as many things as possible, I guess. I should probably relax more, considering, you know, it doesn't take that long to apply to places. And though I still have some real stuff to sort out, you know, I just do one thing at a time and it'll all sort out in the end. You know, we'll figure it out as you can, as possible, you know. You can do things one thing at a time, right? You do things one thing at a time and you'll get it done for too long. Solve all the problems. Okay, let's see. The guy, he's going like, oh, I'm really scared. How do I get out of here? Have you tried the door? Okay, I spot a puzzle. The pathway is submerged. So here's the solution. Pull a lever, and that lowers... No, it doesn't. Pull this lever. Not sure what all these levers do, but this one is the one we were looking for. Opens the thing, lets the water out. I've been doing a thing with, like, sleep schedule stuff where I've just been trying to be awake at the right hours and just, like, forcing it, kinda. I don't know. I don't want to move the stream schedule around during this interim. I feel like it's good where it is. And, like, no, I figured that I can work around it. If I could work around, you know, work and it previously. But, if I seem like I'm flagging a little bit, that's why. I haven't slept that much. Last couple of days. Haven't slept very well, you know. In some cases, I've been like, it's hard, if you can't sleep, right? If you can't sleep, like, what are you to do? Should you just, like, lay in bed for hours and occasionally be like, I'm gonna watch a YouTube video. I'll watch another YouTube video. I can't sleep. Or should you just, like, stay the course and continue to, you know, just, like, not sleep? Or should you just give up and say, like, okay, whatever, we'll go into the morning and then I'll sleep. And, like, exhaustion will take care of it eventually. I don't really have an answer. I'm just figuring it out as I go. And just hoping for, like, you know, being too tired to not sleep to make sleep very easy for too long. Arf. The legs are getting all weird there. Yeah, I got it. Hard to walk on a rope. Little precise, you know? Some weird bats. I got more cards. Let me do a card. I also finished Sea of Stars. Yeah, I'll say I loved Sea of Stars. I would say it's a 5 out of 5 with a heart. I probably should have put reviews on numbers on these, but whatever. I'm not really... It's gonna be a while until I can actually, like, you know, do backlogged reviews for games that just come out. I just... In the meantime, I'll just, like, play it by ear and not commit to any number. Anyway, Sea of Stars, lovely Chrono Trigger type game. I yesterday finished off the ending and then did a bunch of side stuff in order to get the true ending, which was a whole thing. I'll say it was well worth it to, like, pull up a guide and find all the stuff I had missed throughout the rest of the game, because the true ending was really worth seeing, I'll say that. I also saw that there was an Easter egg thing that was locked behind, like, doing all the side stuff all over, including, like, bad minigames, so I just watched a YouTube video of that. I didn't go out of my way to see that through. That's right, this is Hyrule Castle. You're realizing that now. Oh, we still don't know. Okay. We still don't know what's going on here. Link's never been to Hyrule Castle, so he wouldn't know what to look for. That wasn't the person I want you to meet, but yeah, you just said Hyrule Castle. This is Hyrule Castle. We're in Hyrule. Cool. I'll say these enemies are cool. They kind of remind me of the Ing from Prime 2. Weird, disfigured monsters of, like, you know, alien shapes, you know? They are birds, but they don't have faces or beaks or anything other than, like, a weird lumpy spot where their, like, face would be. A lumpy stump of a neck. They're cool. Yeah, they're very ing. Anyway, Sea of Stars, I loved it. The end game was really good, as was the, you know, the post end game, the secret stuff, the true ending, all that. Worth seeing. I would recommend Sea of Stars. It's on Game Pass. It's worth whatever it costs on independent stores. Highly recommended. Definitely will be, like, high on my Game of the Year list, I reckon. It'll be on the list for sure. And pretty high relative to what's on there already, I reckon. Who is that? I'll tell you, I've seen better disguises of this character. That's Princess Zelda. I know that you might be thrown by the fact that she is wearing a hood, but, you know, she is dressed up as, like, a pirate and, like, a ninja before. So, like, her being in, like, a cloak doesn't really hide much. I know who it is. Maybe at this point you'd be suspecting it, even if it was just like, I'm just a weird like monk here, hanging out in wherever the fuck I hang out. You would expect that something was up. So they might as well just be like, yeah, this is the Twilight Princess. It's her. Wait. Wait. Is Midna the Twilight Princess, or is Zelda the Twilight Princess? That's a thinker, isn't it? You know what I am also thinking right now? Is Wingstop open late? I could go with some fucking wings. Closes at midnight. Well, probably not gonna be. We'll see what we can do. I wouldn't bet on it. Then, dang. Tomorrow maybe. Or whatever, we'll see. I could go with wings. I could go for wings right now. Yeah, explain. Why are you not an animal? What animal would Zelda be? Well, I guess there's a canonical answer to that. Now. Recently. You know. Other than that, I guess some sort of bird. I would guess a bird of some kind. I'm a wolf. Ganon's a pig. She'd be like a bright yellow golden bird. That blessed kingdom has been transformed by the king that rules the Twilight. Zant. He's not Ganondorf this time. For real. For sure. For the rest of the game. Weird cutscene. It's like guards? Is this the first time we've ever... No, that's not true. There have been guards in Ocarina. They guard the, They guarded the stealth bit where we had to go through the garden. But this is like the first time we've seen them, like, in battle. On account of... You probably couldn't have cutscenes like that. Well, you probably could have done if you wanted them. There are cutscenes in Ocarina. But with not this many characters, I guess. Maybe, I'm not sure. A lot of characters moving all at once. That was pretty big innovation of the GameCube era. You know, there was like a pretty hard limit back in the day. So like how many characters you could have before things start being fucked up. Life or death. I don't like his, like, balls. He has, like, a ball chin coming out of his mask. And it, like, opens to reveal a mouth. So it just looks like, you know... I guess those are the goddesses, hey. I don't know why highlight that one in particular. So she lost, and then what happened? Oh, she like confined to quarters, basically. Twilight covered people, and with that light, people became as spirits. Yeah, so they're sort of trapped in a ethereal state, unable to do nothing. They are unaware, though. I mean, that's not so bad. They think they're alive, but they're really scared. Okay, that's not good. That seems weird to me. The idea that, like, oh, they're trapped as ghosts. Oh, no. But they don't know that they're ghosts. Oh. They don't? Oh, she does say, I remain its princess. So, she is the Twilight Princess. I mean, for a game named after her, I feel like there's not that much of her in the game. Like, Midna makes more sense as the Twilight Princess to me. Well, do you know about Midna? We don't know who Midna is. Alright, let's skedaddle. I'll see you at the end. I'll see you at the end of the game, Twilight Princess. We'll see her again at the end of the game, or whatever. Maybe sometime in the middle, actually. I don't know. Guards are coming. Let's get the fuck out of here. I don't know why we can't kill the guard. I've killed guards before in this game. You know, they're pigmen. And such. Easy to kill. Alright, let's get the fuck out of here. We gotta go back to our small town and figure out what the fuck's going on. And that will open up one step of the way towards the dungeon. I'm a dog. Yeah, I got it. Is this a thing? I forgot that Midna can do, like, shape-shifting for fun. Is that something she does often? I like the look of that little girl. Or, like, Link's girlfriend doing, like, I like her more when it is Midna doing, like, taunting Link. And doing, like, mean face, you know? That is more like it. Okay, there's a 3-step process here. Okay, hey, we're back in town. We're back in town, and it's not Twilight, so let's sneak around town as a woofy woof. And also, you can see that our shadow has Midna on it. It's a nice effect. He's also a shadow coming to life. That's also a nice effect. Okay, let's do it. A sword and a shield. That should be easy enough. Alright, folks. It's time to go find a sword and a shield. Then we have to do some, like, Twilight Realm stuff. And then we can do a dungeon? Man, this game, it really, like... This one might be a long series. You know? Compared to, like, Wind Waker, which... we're able to get through, like, pretty quick. Relative, you know? There was a certain point where... each stream could have 2 dungeons if there were 2 dungeons to do, you know? And if not, it could be, like, relatively short. Whereas, like, any dungeon in this game might take some doing, you know? There are a lot of them, though. This is a big game. But still... Squirrels say that the kids have been kidnapped. We smell like Orden. We can talk to the animals. Okay, we cannot talk to the people, but we can talk to the animals. And the people are going to be pretty upset because we look like the Shadow Beast, even though, you know, we're like clearly a regular-ass wolf with some dreadlocks. Who is he talking to? I guess his kid spiritually. Sword and a shield. How are we gonna get that? First off, I think we might need to scare that guy off or something. All right. Chicken, tell me what's up. Tell me. Yeah, monsters took off with the brats. I like that the chicken does not respect the kids. Those fucking brats. Yeah, you're right. They're probably younger than they are. Really. You know, like, from a literal standpoint. About the shield. Ooh, not so loud. I think I need to, like, hide in the grass. I'm not close enough. Shield is still in your house. It should be in the storage loft. Go grab it. Russell still has sword. Okay. Good to know. Okay, now they're running away. Yeah. Yeah, I see the path. All these paths are like, you know, manually set, so it's not like a matter of like going anywhere where you can see, just like wherever Midna thinks it's a good idea. I guess it works. Hey, I don't think there's like that many cases where you think like, oh, I could, if only I had an option. Hey, stop being a dick about it. Cool. Keep going, Midna. Okay, we gotta take care of that guy before we can get over there. Oh no, the Link is dead. Okay. I'm gonna hit continue. Retry, rather. It's gonna be fine, right? It's just like they're still gone over there. We didn't lose any progress. Yep. What does the cat say? Oh, that's a dog. dig something up, yeah. Okay. I can dig in the cabbage, in the pumpkin patch. Okay. How would y'all like another card? Have y'all seen what they did to FLCL? FLCL was a very good 6-episode show back in like the sneak up from behind and scare him. Okay, that's what we need to do. FLCL. Here, we can see a very clear space where we're supposed to do this. FLCL was a very weird show from like the year 2000. Sort of a, you know, unexpected hit that became a cult classic. And like a couple of years ago, they started like doing a remake, doing like additional shows that didn't really hit half as hard, you know. And this year, right now, in fact, apparently, they're doing additional shows like FLCL Grudge, which is 4 episodes long, and it looks like this. Now, I will say the original show was a regular-ass 2D anime that had a little bit of style to it and looked good. The new show looks like this. Looks like this. Looks like this. It looks sort of like an Xfinity, like Efinity. Looks like an ad for car insurance or something, right? Looks like terrible, you know? Like look at that again. Like holy fucking shit. It's 3D. It looks bad, even by 3D standards, even by like 3D into 2D standards. And this is a prestigious series that's like Adult Swim thinks they are going to have like more and more shows of. Here's the shield. There it is. It's just terrible, you know? Just to see like what has become, and that they should really just let enough alone. Let it alone, you know? Leave it alone. That's what they should do. Shield, it'll be good. They should really just leave FLCL alone, but they are just, you know, crazy about it. They love to just make those new shows, and apparently they're just willing to just make them all be weird and different, and I don't know. Lightning's not gonna strike again, I don't think. And the fact is that it was a weird show that was a success in spite of being so fucking weird. And it has an ending, so you can't just do more episodes of that. I guess it's a good thing they're looking for more vibes than, like, exact content, but it's still not good. It still makes you go like, God damn, wow, what are you doing? And I'll say I saw this because I was looking at, like, I'll do the next card. I was looking at new simulcast anime, those that are coming up. And the first one up was, like, this show, Question, which apparently has had 3 episodes already. But it's more of a technical thing, because it's kind of just more of a show that doesn't give a shit when the seasons are. You know, it's only going for a couple episodes anyway, so it doesn't have to doesn't have to concern itself with such things as when the seasons change over, or what TV slots are available, or whatever the fuck. Hey, this is all we need to do in this area, so That's good. We'll be able to leave now. Subsequently. Now. Looking forward to new shows starting. I thought one was going to start today, but it turns out that it just has like it's airing on some streaming service that's not in America, like a week early. So it's actually next week is when that show is hitting, and you know, honestly, that's kind of annoying if like all the episodes are going to show on AniList like a week earlier than they're actually airing, but maybe the show is bad and we don't have to worry about that, and we can just like, I can just cut it and have that be that, and it won't be like a thing I have to worry about. We'll see. The other new shows start like Thursday, Wednesday, Thursday, I think at earliest. And then after that, it's just like the floodgates are open. There'll be a bunch of new shows thereafter, which is pretty good. I'm pretty excited for new stuff starting. It's always a bittersweet time. You know, shows ending and new shows beginning. Here we go. Some guys are dropping from the sky. He can beat their ass, and they turn into digital squares and fly up. This game does have a good look to it. It has some style. I don't like the character designs, but the look of the world, the look of the enemies, it's evocative. And, like, the painterly style of Twilight, it works. It's a good look that's not just, hey, it's not just realistic. It has a little bit of flair, but also, if you were looking for realism, it's also got that, so you don't have to, like, be weird about it this time. But if you do like artistic intent and like artistic values, like, hey, it has like sort of a painterly style to it, which people might be into. Cool animal. Cool spirit. Hey, spirit guy. That's Ordon. Ordana. Also, he protects Hyrule at the behest of the gods. So we are in Hyrule then. This is all Hyrule. This is included in Hyrule. The black beast you slayed was a shadow being. It had come to seize the power of light. As a result, perhaps this area will not fall. They didn't send that many. They only sent one for this guy. You know, whereas they'll send like dozens of them after me in the future. Seems like they could have sent more than one. The entire season has been, a kingdom has been reduced to another world. Another realm, you could say. Doesn't really work as a pun. Other than I mentioned Mortal Kombat earlier. The blight will not stop with Hyrule. Before long, the entire world will fall into the hands of the guy. So it doesn't really matter if, like, all of Hyrule were to fall. You know, like, if this area were to fall, we could still push it back. I think that's happens. Like, surely there's like a... Surely you have to do a thing with his orbs later on. Maybe you only have to do that 3 times, the orb thing. It's me. I can do it. Yes. I have still not discovered my true power. Yeah. Those transformed by Twilight cannot usually recover their original forms, but unless you were to return to Faron Woods where you were first transformed, revive the Light Spirit. By the power of the Light Spirit, you may find the means to regain your other state of being. Okay, we do the side thing, and then we become human again. And then we do the Forest Temple. Is it called the Forest Temple? It might be called, like, the Sacred Grove or something like that. Who remembers? It might be Sacred Grove. Oh, hey, I can get a whole map and look and see. It'll say, like, oh, this is Ordana Orden Village. This is Orden Ranch. This is the path leading out of Orden. And you can see here's a map of Hala Hyrule. Ordana is sort of like a weird like outlying area. The Hyrule Kingdom. The Farron Province. The whole area. That's the woods. There's like the lake area. There's the desert area. Hyrule Field roundabouts. There's the mountainy area. And snow mountains. And pass up here. Maybe this is Zora. This is like the Zora's kingdom up here. And Hyrule Castle in the middle. That about covers it. And it's sort of like Hyrule Field loops around the whole thing. Rings the whole Hyrule Central Castle thing. You know, it's like Termina Field in that way. Pretty literally, I guess. Alright. Alright, we're making decent progress, I guess. It seems like we could probably do the first dungeon by the end of the stream. We're like 2 hours in. It is time now for the orb thing. You know, the orb section of the stream. Where we're going to have to go find some bugs to kill. We're gonna have to get some grapes. Fill that whole thing up. Is that gonna be right where I am? It occurs to me that the grape counter appears like... might appear where I am. She doesn't like those. Those aren't for, those aren't for her. Yeah, those are for me. It's cool. Okay. She's being, like, weirdly sinister about it, but she's actually nice. There's nothing bad about her intentions. It'd be cool if there was. Was she just singing, Zelda's Lullaby? That was definitely some Zelda music. Well, I guess it would be. Farron Woods, let's go. It's time for a tutorial, I believe. We're about to get 2 enemies dropped on us, and, well, we can't deal with that quite yet. There's one, and there's the other. Wait, no, there goes... Okay, there's the other. 3 of them, okay. So that would have worked if not for the fact that the game needs to tutorialize, like, hey, you need to take them all out all at once, or else it won't work. But we did hit those guys, like, the same amount of times. If you do this, it just kills them all. Basically. Pretty good for wolf combat. Honestly, makes it a little bit too easy, but I guess, like, the way that it was unfolding is, like, kind of borderline, not fun. You're just going like, arf, arf, arf. Jumping is fun. Jumping at enemies is fun. But, like, just going like, arf, arf, arf. And lunging at them doesn't feel very good. You know. I will say the wolf form... It feels alright. Feels pretty good. But if I were to put it up against the three forms in Majora's Mask, Goron, Zora, and Deku, I would have to say it's a good deal below each of those three. And also a good deal below, like, regular ass Link. Blue-eyed beast. Alright, we got the Vessel of Light. Where on the screen is it gonna live? Okay, so we see on the map where they are. I think it's gonna be on the left, isn't it? Nope, it's on the right. We're good. I don't have to move. Haha. I don't have to move an inch. Good, okay. I like to see that. Okay, we just gotta collect some grapes and then we'll be out of this section and one step closer to Judging O'Clock. That seems good. Let's start with going in this guy's house and taking care of the guys in the house. These parts, they're alright, but, you know, they are bordering on, like, a little too much, you know? Like, okay, buddy, just... Yeah, I think we got enough content here. Okay, yeah, this guy is hiding here. They're cute. They could be, like... 20%, 25% shorter, let's say, you know, and still been perfectly good, perfectly fun opportunity to do, like, Twilight Realm stuff. I guess that would be, like, my one disappointment, is that the Twilight Realm is just like a carpet that it's just like a shroud that encroaches upon the land and, like, almost completely entirely retreats, like, by the mid-game, and then it's just gone forever after you do... You know, it's basically gone forever in each area after you do, like, a minor quest that takes maybe a... You know, a half hour, let's say. It's over before you know it. It'd be cool if instead, if it was more like an alternate realm where, like, you had to do different stuff. I guess they didn't have that much of an idea about what could be different about this realm other than, like, yeah, it looks different. And there's, like, different enemies that are here now. And, you're a wolf. You're a wolf when you're here. You know, it doesn't really make sense as, like, a dark light world setup. It's more just like a filter upon the world that is pretty meaningless in a general sense. Very good. Okay, so now a shroud has fallen upon the world. And we gotta do, like, Midna stuff to get over it. Is she gonna make me, like, jump in the water before she just gives me the option to go over? No, okay, good. There's just a specific spot she wants me to go to. I'll probably sleep a normal night of sleep tonight, which is what I was looking to do. That's about right. And I'll have a nice normal tomorrow, try and get stuff done. a regular pace and probably have a few calls and stuff. Some interview type things, you know? I know this. It's cool. Alright, we totally missed one in the middle. We need to go back and get it. Also, we missed one on the other side. I guess keep an eye on the radar and don't, like, run past any areas that are, like, you know, they're not optional. This is a collection quest thing. Have to get everything, everything we see. Alright. I will say, let me just do a couple cards here. I got cards about some anime that finished. First off, Mixed Messai Story Season 2, giving it a 2 out of 5. And also, by the way, I'll say, like, I retroactively edited the review of the first season from a 4 to a 3, just based on how rank I found this season to be. This season, like, really just focused most of its runtime, it felt like, on an old amnesiac 40-year-old, despite being a high school baseball anime. Instead, a lot of the focus is on, like, the dads, and how, like, oh, you know, back in their day, they also had high school baseball, and by God, do they feel a way about that. And it's just like, dudes, it's been like 40 years since you guys were kids, so you guys really need to, like, feel that strongly about the high school baseball that you had way back when. I don't know. It's weird, and also, like, not even most of the stuff with the older folks is that. A lot of it is just, like, some weird amnesiac who they never explain who he is or why we should care. You know, why he gets so much screen time. Just him wandering around not knowing things. And, like, there's so many scenes where, like, he'll be wandering into a scene and be like, hey, I guess I was drunk and I forgot that I don't come here anymore. And then he just, like, talks for a minute and then he leaves. That happened in, like, the last episode even. And then another character passes him by and is like, wait, what the fuck? What is he doing here? They don't even know why he's here or why he's getting screen time. Not even the characters. Anyway, the first half of the season was pretty much given over to that shit. Barely any baseball in the first half. So it took like 12, like, horribly long episodes to get to baseball. They did some baseball in the second half. It's fine. It's like the most serviceable baseball ever. I wouldn't say it's remarkable. It certainly doesn't save it, the show, from getting a 2 out of 5 in my books. I would say that it's terrible. Terrible. There's something to be said about Slice of Life, but Slice of Life with 40-year-old insomniacs who just, like, wander around being weird, that's... I don't know about that. Maybe it's a thing where the writer just... maybe it's also... I understand that this writer is, like, a really old writer, you know, has been writing sports anime, source manga for the last, like, 50, 60 years or so. Maybe all the stuff about that, the older generation, is, like, some reference to an older anime that I've never fucking seen before. Because it was, like, from the 60s or something, and it just does nothing for me. And it feels like a complete waste of time. The anime also feels very, very, very old-fashioned as well, to a point where characters are just, like, terrible, weird-looking... what the fuck, right? Terribly, like, odd ducks, both in appearance, design, and, like, characterization, you know? And there's a sense of like, oh, gee shucks, you know, we can't do anything about him. He's just someone we have to deal with. Oh, gee shucks. That's just how it is here in, you know, here in the good old, in the good old times that we're having right now. You know, that's how it was in the good old days, and that's how it is now. And it's like, this feels like a 60-year-old's escapist fantasy. There was a scene in the last episode, which I almost want to just call out in particular, where, like, an old character who, like, runs the restaurant. See you later, Minna. Who runs, like, a restaurant and gets also too much screen time. It's a scene where some random extras come into town or come into the restaurant and try to pay with card. And the guy goes like, "What's this? You're trying to eat out at a restaurant on a card?" Which, to be clear, it is an unusual thing to do in Japan. Maybe becoming more and more a thing over time, but, you know, it is still pretty unusual. But the guy's like, "What's this? You're trying to eat out with a card? Get out of here, you bums!" And they run away, and it's like, "Ooh hoo hoo!" You know, it's like that. And I'm just watching this, going like, what is this scene doing here? Did this 60-year-old, 70-year-old writer just like want to just take a quick crack at the kids these days, trying to pay in a restaurant with a card? Why, I never. It's like, what does this have to do with baseball? What does this have to do with anything? What does this guy have to do with baseball other than like, oh, he knows the dads of the he knows the dad of the main character, the dads of the main character. The main family is like a you know, of a character. The main characters, they are like brothers, but not like biological brothers. Their parents sort of came together after the previous dad and the previous mom died, and they're also like both really good at baseball. And the dads apparently were also pretty good at baseball as well in their day. Who fucking cares, I guess. It's a whole thing. And I think that it severely misallocates its time and squanders any like interest that I had, and just tediously boring and bad and just bizarre. Ugh. Give it a 2 because the baseball is good. It avoids a 1. The baseball was pretty serviceable, and when it remembered to be about baseball, it wasn't all that bad, but again, took like 12 episodes to get there. All right, hey, we have awakened. We've gotten some good clothes. Look at this. We no longer have like a, we're no longer wearing the whole stomach guard thing. You know, the corset. No more corsets. Your name is Link. I know this. I chose the name. You are the hero chosen by the gods. What the fuck? What is that? Camera movements. Bum, bum, bum. Whoops. Oh, shit. Camera control. I'm Link! That's sort of what that was up to. Hit the wrong button there. Earlier. Was trying to hit the camera button. Also, it would be better if the camera didn't, like, miss the first try. I don't know why it does that. Maybe I should update the firmware. Maybe that would help. It's a forbidden power. Because of its nature, it is a power that should never be touched by any who dwell in the light. But this world weeps beneath a mantle of shadows, and there's no choice. You must match the power of the King of Shadows. What do you mean? If you would seek this forbidden power, then proceed to the temple in the forest depths. Alright, hey. We have saved Farron. Folks, we have saved Farron. That means it is now time to move and make our way to the dungeon and do a thing. That's right, that's why I turned into a beast. No, I'd rather be a person. She was going there too. Does the god know about Midna? I don't know if God knows about Midna. I don't know if God knows about Midna. Weird thing to say. God knows everything, so jot that down, I guess. God knows about Midna. Knows about the Midnas that never were, even. And then some, I guess. I don't... Not my thing, I'll say. I'm kidding. I don't give a... I am not any sort of, Christian or anything of the sort. No. Don't really believe in any of that, in general. Give me the key, dickhead. Yeah, give me the key. I don't know why this scene is here. I don't have 100 rubies, dude. For a start. Second off, I still have some left. I don't know why you're forced to go over there and talk to the guy. Seems to me like the gate could have just been open, and you could just go through. Oh, right, you need to dig below the gates when you're a beast. So it needed to be closed because of that. That's why, okay. We're figuring things out. On a more positive note, I also finished watching Horimiya, The Missing Pieces, another simulcast anime, also finished on Saturday. I will say, Mixed Messai Story was a 24-episode deal. Most other shows are 12 or somewhere in that neighborhood, and Horimiya, The Missing Pieces is like 12, 13 episodes. I'm giving it a 5 out of 5, and I'm giving it a favorites status. It's ST or it's I got a heart. That's what that means. That's sort of a, you know, a point above just having 5 stars for me that I like to give as a distinction. That's like all-time favorite status. So Horimiya is a show which aired a couple of years ago, and is basically about a boy and a girl who are like more than they seem on the surface, you know? The main character is sort of a... The main boy is sort of a unpopular type boy. Sort of like gloomy and stuff, but it turns out when the girl who is popular gets to know him, she finds out like, oh wait, you have really long hair because you want to hide your piercings that are cool. And what the fuck are those tattoos? You have tattoos? You're actually like a cool punk guy. What the fuck? Yeah, so you dress down because you don't want to get in trouble for, and like dress in layers because you don't want to get in trouble for having like elaborate arm tattoos. And she's also like a little more than what she seems on the surface, you know, insofar as she like as a very homebody person, you know, takes care of her younger brother whenever she goes home and just sort of like cleans up the house and shit, rather than doing anything like really popular or trendy. Anyway, these two, they develop like a really cozy relationship, hanging out with each other and, you know, very smoothly get to dating. And it's just a really good show that has an ending and came out a couple of years ago, and they decided as of this year to be like, okay, when we made the first season, we actually skipped over a lot of content to make it like a solid 12 episodes, you know, and tell the story from beginning to end. And they decided to go back and fill in the gaps. And, you know, I said when it started that it is a bit of like, just like, okay, it's all deleted scenes, basically. It's like 12 episodes of deleted scenes. And they're good deleted scenes, is the thing. They're really good. You know, they're funny, the characters are great and deep and complicated. and more than they seem in great ways. The faces that they make sometimes are priceless. It's good shit. And, you know, though it's sometimes awkward for them to be, like, making through lines by, like, taking scenes that probably were not connected originally and, like, sort of connecting them together in weird, awkward ways. Like, oh, this one's sort of about hair. This other story is also sort of about haircuts. So these sort of go together now, I guess. You know, it's stuff like that where feels a little awkward, feels like they had like a set of puzzle pieces that didn't go together and they just had to figure out how to put them together, but the deleted scenes are really, really, really good, and, you know, just spending more time in Horimiya's world is just delightful of itself. I'm gonna give it the heart. I nearly didn't. I nearly was like, okay, the structure is weird. You know, maybe this is 5 stars, but I don't know if it's, like, doing it for me as much as the original. And I'll say that. I don't think it does. I think it's not quite as good, but it is good enough where it is, like, an all-timer, you know? Just, like, in the way that not every Season 2 is as good as Season 1, but, you know, they can still be, like, top tier nonetheless. Both things can be true. That's not as good, and still, it is still, like, phenomenal. Still great. Still a delight. And I'm just, like, really glad that they made it. Anyway, come on, let's go. That's all the shows that aired since the last stream, that finished during the last stream. However, there is one that I do want to touch on. That section was maybe less annoying than I remembered. Possibly because we didn't fail, and also I was just talking about stuff throughout the whole thing of it. That section, kind of annoying having to, like, wait on the monkey. Kind of annoying having to wait on the monkey. One other show that finished during this span is Zom 100, Bucket List of the Dead. Not really finished, it's now indefinitely delayed. The last 3 episodes, they'll come out at some point, but no one knows when because they had production issues. I will say, though, I have just fucking loved everything of Zom 100. Basically, the premise is that this guy, it's a very dark anime at first. It's a very depressing show in its prologue, because the main character, it's not because he's in a zombie apocalypse, it's because he's a wage slave, and his work conditions suck ass. They're terrible, and after 3 years, you know, of working really, 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 really hard, the apocalypse happens, and he is freed from it, and it is just fucking joyous in a way that is just, like, so fucking good. Wait. Just want to fill it right here. Why wouldn't I do it right here? How much is it? $20 rubies. Wasn't that guy charging 100 earlier? Motherfucker. Anyway, the premise is once the zombie apocalypse happens, he's just so delighted, so pleased, and just, like, so free. And just sort of, like, wanders around, you know, travels a bit, and, like, does everything he wanted to do in life other than work. And so, you know, the premise is, like, he's made a bucket list of 100 things, or is making a bucket list of things he wants to do before he's becoming a zombie. 100 things will be the goal. And, you know, there's a good amount of just, like, it's basically a zombie anime where he's just running around being like, oh shit, I have a chance to wine and dine some flight attendants. That's on my list. Oh shit, eat out at a fancy sushi restaurant. Fuck yeah, become a superhero. Ooh, yeah, let's do it. Okay, shit. It's very fun, very joyous, and just, like, so good. And I'll say, like, for my part, You know, recently found myself between jobs, between work, and I definitely watched a good amount of that. In the first day, I listened to that OP of that anime a bunch because, like, yeah, it is the joyous energy I want to, like, inhabit in this interim period, you know? Of just like, yeah, it's gonna be a whole pain in the ass to find something, but, you know, hey man, let's just relax and, you know, take things as they come and, you know, look forward to better times, you know. I'll say Zom 100, it's definitely for me a top tier show, and I'm thinking one that I will be like, it'll definitely be like in my top 10 animes of the year. Probably top 5. It's gonna be up there. I'm pretty sure, even if the last 3 episodes don't end up hitting this year, which they might. They probably will. It's probably gonna be like a month or 2 delay, I would reckon. But I really don't know. Okay, apparently I don't have courage. Teach me a move then, buddy. Oh, he's... Okay, here we go. This is a good song. This is a better version of the song we heard earlier? I think so. I recognize music. Ending blow, yes. This is also... Is it also a thing? I don't think it's a thing in the later games, but maybe in Skyward Sword. It's cool. It's the move he used on Ganondorf in Wind Waker. Pretty much. We'll get more skills as the game goes on. It's cool, it's good, we love it. The sword wields no strength, unless the hand that holds it has courage as well. Yepers. You got it, buddy. Alright, let's, Hey! You know what lies just ahead of here? Finally, we're getting into the first dungeon. 2.5 hours in. I guess that's not too different from Wind Waker if you don't include the first dungeon of that game. No, it's not that different relative. And probably not that different from Majora's Mask, though the stuff in Majora's Mask, the first cycle and all the stuff in the forest and all, it is all really fucking good, so no complaints there. You know, it's allowed to be, like, to take its time because there's only 4 dungeons and they're all really good. And, like, also in Majora's Mask, the dungeon is not the main event. Okay, this is just the forest temple. It's not like the Sacred Grove or the something or other. Again, they had a pretty clear, like, hey, just make the fucking temples be like they were in Ocarina for a change. Don't be weird with it. Just temples, forest temple, fire temple, wind temple, whatever. Actually, I'm not sure what all the temples are. Well, there's some that are different. Arbiter's Grounds. Arbiter's Grounds, the Yeti's business. I'll use this. I guess I should not talk too much directly about all that business. Yet, you know, until we get there. Try to keep it spoiler free, I guess, you know, whatever. I don't know, it's possible the people might watch this full playthrough eventually as, like, in lieu of playing the game itself. I'll say you should also play the game. It's good. Well, it's not my favorite 3D Zelda. It's like maybe below the last two. It's below the last two and below the first three. It's above Skyward Sword. Give it that. And if the 3D Zeldas that are 2D Zeldas, like the DS ones count, yeah, even Skyward Sword is above those games. They are not good. Not good at all. I would put it above, like, most 2D Zeldas. I think in general I prefer the... In general, I prefer the 2D ones to the 3D one, or the 3D ones to the 2D ones. With the exception of Minish Cap. What are you doing, buddy? There we go. I mean, I'll say the Oracle games were pretty good, and I enjoyed my time with them a bunch. Oracle of Seasons especially was a very, very nice, good time. Minish Cap is definitely above this one. Maybe above Wind Waker as well. Oracle of Seasons, I'd probably put Oracle of Seasons just above this game. I'd put Oracle of Ages just below, I don't want to say below Skyward Sword. Just below this one. Let's have the order be that. And I'd put Link to the Past. I'm not really a big Link to the Past fan. I played it like in full once, and I just didn't. You know, that was like ages ago, and every time I've gone back, like tried, it's just been like put off by the fact that I don't know where I'm going, and I'd have to figure that out to go anywhere. You know. I'd have to figure out, like, the structure of that game and figure out where to go, and honestly, I just enjoyed it more in, like, Minish Cap tells you where to go, the Oracle games tell you where to go pretty clearly. There's, like, good clues and good, like, stuff leading you where you need to go. Just not as much as my taste. Is it, though? Maybe Skyward Sword would be lower than it, because Skyward Sword, while not confusing, is bloated, and isn't bloated worse than confusing? I don't know. That guy has a pretty cool boomerang. I wonder where he got it. I would like such a boomerang. Showing us his ass, his butt cheeks. That's great. We can see her butt cheeks as well. I guess it's cool how this game like has monkeys as a big role. Okay, we're gonna follow the monkey. I think about how Majora's Mask had some monkeys in it. It's a good thing to have monkeys in your game. So here the monkeys are gonna form. This monkey in particular is gonna form a bridge for us to go over here and do a thing. Oh God, we're about to get this guy. Look at that guy. The fuck? So this guy like a weird chicken, and she's like a weird chicken. Jeez, I forgot that she was a lady, you know? Whatever, man. Anyway, her deal is weird. She, like, warps you to the entrance and can warp you back to wherever you started, so I guess that's a handy feature. And again, they're taking things that could have been on like a Play an Ocarina song and putting them on items, putting them on menus, putting them in the inventory. Again, I think these are good changes. And make for a game that is like more... has better quality of life than previous entries. But I don't know. It's so weird. And these guys, they're part of like a race that lived in the clouds. Does that sound familiar? A race that lived up in the clouds and used to do stuff with like the... with like the people of Hyrule, I guess? I don't know. They have a city in the clouds. We'll see it later. Okay, we can't do anything over here. Other than go over this way. How's about another card? Hey. I'm searching for work at the moment. Sort of started in earnest today. Figured that I'd like shoot out a bunch of applications to like jobs that looked like they were reasonably aligned. I'll say like it is kind of hard to look for stuff that is like super aligned. Most things are, you know, call for various technologies that are pretty like specific. I'll say I appreciate any of them that aren't that like stringent, you know, because really with engineers, you know, most people don't just work for 10 years on a thing randomly. You know, they probably do it for a job, so if they want someone with 10 years experience, they're just pigeonholing themselves in pretty deeply. Whereas, like, I feel like the wiser job offering type things out there, they're more flexible and they just, like, you know, are more looking for, like, someone who's a good fit for the company and they can teach whatever technologies they need, you know? And, I think that's just a better way of doing things, but in the meantime, I'm just, like, looking and sending them out. Which, I'll say, you know, seems pretty doable. You know, I've been saying that, like, I have already been approached by some recruiters and stuff. And I have to wonder now, like, how much of it is, like, valuable, you know? Like... I'll say, like, when I first was looking for a job way back when, you know, when I was just fresh out of college 10 years ago, much different, you know, insofar as, like, yeah, I had no experience, nothing really to my name, and now people will see that 10 years and they go, like, oh, you know, recruiters will, like, recruiters will be trying to recruit and do the stuff. You know what I mean? And you gotta wonder in some cases, are they like hired by the companies in question to look for people? Or are they from the companies? And if they're from the companies, that's simple enough. Otherwise, it seems like just independent parties just looking for a commission, you know? Just like fishing. And they don't know if like I'm a good fit or if like, or if even I would be interested in such an offer, you know? There's been cases where I have gotten people asking, like, hey, do you want to move to, like, Austin? And I'll say, like, no, absolutely not. I'm not interested in moving out of the suburbs of DFW, and specifically the ones that are northern-y, you know? That's where I want to live, that's where family is, etc., you know? And they're just gonna have to deal with it. And, other cases where it seems like some recruiters just like taking a stab in the dark. I guess the thing that's weird about it to me is just like, I guess on some level I expected if anyone is going to be like, okay, let's set up a call and discuss this opportunity and shit. I guess I always on some level expect them to be on the level, you know, and be like, not wasting my time. But I guess some of them could be wasting my time. I don't know. On some level, I do want to just... wasting my time is not that much of an issue to me, right? Like, I do want to take some time to just, like, you know, search leisurely. You You know, I just got out. I don't have to, like, worry for a little bit, you know? I don't have to, like, get frantic yet. I can just take things as they come and just look at each offer as far as, like, okay, we'll talk. We'll figure out if it's a good fit. You know, if they are down with me, if I am down with them, maybe that goes somewhere. But take things as they come and, you know, relax. I did make like I did do like a whole, I was told by a guy on a Discord, guy who's like a technical fella, that I should do like a LinkedIn post about like, you know, being open to work. So I went ahead and did that. I tried to make it, you know, funny and shit. I refused to do like the LinkedIn voice. You know, I feel as an engineer, as a software guy, I'm above such things. You know, regular ass wage workers, they have to be stuffy and shit and formal. I think that engineers should tell it as it is. You know, they should cut with the bullshit and just you know, put it and like say it straight, right? And just be like, yeah, you know, what if? Basically, the format I went with was answering various questions like, okay, what have I done with before? You know, answered about like, I just went over like stuff I have worked with before. I had another question basically I proposed it as a series of rhetorical questions and gave funny answers, essentially. One of them was like, what if the job has something that you haven't used yet? To which I said like, well, I'll look at the code that's available, Google up examples, and it'll be fine. That's how it always works when you're exposed to something new. You do some Googling and you figure it out from the sources that are available online. You know, that's how every engineer would do it, pretty much. Just like, look up examples, look at how it's being done currently, if there is any existing code, and figure it out. And just, you know, go from there. It's standard. That's how you do. I do wonder on a certain level if, like, a lot of recruiters understand that, you know? If they're not, like, specifically tech recruiters, are they just looking very specifically for, like, okay, you've used the right languages, rather than looking for more like, okay, this language probably won't pose a problem, you'll figure it out. It's a pretty, like, accessible language, you'll probably get the hang of it before too long. Hello, Swedish Fish Gaming, how's it going? Anyway, to sum up the last thoughts, thank you for the follow. Last thoughts I have about, like, the LinkedIn post anecdote, the last thing I said on that was like, hey, I'm not gonna move. I'm not gonna move. And the question was phrased as, how do you feel about moving to Austin/Detroit/Sheffield? I thought that Sheffield was a very funny third option for that. Just a random fucking state in the UK. Or, sorry, city in the UK. No, I'm not gonna move anywhere except for the suburbs of the city I live in. The suburban city I live... The other suburbs of the suburban metroplex. How you doing, Swedish? Hey, how you doing? Hey, hello. I'm just talking about looking for a job recently. How do I kill this guy? Maybe it's not important to kill this guy. I'm just playing some of this here game. You know, Twilight Princess. Starting it tonight. We got to the first dungeon already, which I feel good about. I know the intro of this game is like really, really long, and I was kind of worried that it might take more than one stream to get to a dungeon, and, you know, given that the dungeons are like the main event, what am I doing? I shouldn't jump into this guy's maw repeatedly. I definitely want to do some dungeon stuff every stream that I play this game. I do wonder if that's gonna keep on being feasible. I guess we'll see. Oh, I see what we do. Well, hang on. Actually, there's a room over there. But also, I think if we do this, that'll totally be a secret or something. Okay, there's also a room over there we can get to, but let's go in here. It's a boss room or... Yes, that's a monkey. I wonder if it's even possible to get another full piece of heart before this part of the game. Probably not, right? Because, you know, you're pretty much pigeonholed to doing, like, the plot as it is. So you're always going to have 3 hearts for this whole section. New iteration on the... You think this is a floor master? Is this... Were they called floor... Fuck. That's all my hearts. Well, whatever. I'll retry. Link! Link! Oh! Ah. Yeah. How about another card? I'm gonna make some spaghetti later. Follow up on cooking. I did say the other day that maybe, you know, between jobs I would spend more time, like, cooking and, like, you know, trying to do more of that stuff. Like, trying out maybe some, like... I could try out some subscription services, honestly. Something of the sort, but... Right now, my plan is to just, make spaghetti as I always do. I love spaghetti. I've had it... I've made it like countless times last few years. It's kind of the only food I make myself, you know, these days. And I was at the grocery store the other day and I just said, like, you know what, I am really hungry for some spaghetti right now. I got the craving. You know, I'm gonna just go ahead and purchase the ingredients and, you know, whatever. I will say, now would be a bad time to waste food, so I oughta, you know, always make sure I'm eating what I'm buying, and I'm buying good stuff. Which does worry me a little, I guess, about HelloFresh. I've also heard there's, you know, maybe I wouldn't like it, maybe it'd be too much work, whatever. I don't know if I'll ever do something like HelloFresh. I will say this, I did see that there was another service that doesn't sell, like, pre-made or meals you can cook, but instead sells pre-made meals you can just heat up in a microwave. That sounds like it might be more my speed. I'm always, like, looking at the Stofers, looking at, like, Stofers and Marie Callender's lineup, and thinking, like, okay, these are good. I love their cheesy chicken. The cheesy chicken and a couple others are just, like, real standouts. But also... like, I need more variety in my menu, in my diet. And, you know, Marie Callender's doesn't have that. You know, they're always gonna have the same things at the grocery store. And, you know, not even. They're sometimes gonna lose ones, and then you'll never see them again in, like, a regular size. Used to be, there was, like, a, rice broccoli mix bake that used to be available in a single serving, but now it's only family size, so haven't had it in years as a result. That used to be my favorite before they stopped offering it, or at least it stopped being at all the grocery stores I know of. Weird mini boss. Let's fight this guy. This is almost not a mini-boss. The music is just regular enemy music. Even though this is a unique foe, I don't think this appears... Well, I don't know, actually. But I would hazard a guess it doesn't appear anywhere else in the game. There we go. Yeah, that's not quite... I don't know that that's quite mini-boss level. More like unique enemy without the status, you know? That fella right there is like the most closely... The closest to promotion of mini-boss I think any enemy has been in the Zelda series. Right, like, just short of being promoted to the point where you get your own music. Or, like, the regular mini-boss music, if not, like, specific to that character. Alright, we freed the monkeys. Where the fuck do we take the monkeys now? We've gone, like, everywhere that's available. Let's check the map. Oh, okay, hang on. We could pull it. You can put it on the main screen even. Hey, that's way better than the last game where, you know, Wind Waker, where you couldn't even do that while you're playing on the TV. It would only be on the gamepad. Very nice for y'all at home, I reckon. I guess it's gonna be the gap in the main room. I reckon we now have enough to go forward, would be my guess. Let's do that. I bet that's the compass behind that, thing. Alright, the monkeys are telling me where to go. I guess these guys make this dungeon easy, because they're always going to be like, okay, here's the way forward, dickhead. Go left here. The monkeys say to go left, go left. And it's not like you can maybe figure out on your own that the monkeys are going to do a rope bridge thing, so, you know, that is fair. You know, they didn't really establish at any point like they do in, like, say... It's not as clear as it would be in, like, Breath of the Wild, Tears of the Kingdom, like, hey... You have to do 4 of a thing, and then you can be done. You know, nothing like that is clearly, cleanly established in this one, at least. Whew. What's going on here? Oh, I think it's time to fight a monkey. Look at that guy's butt. It's too big. This is a good boss battle. Good mini-boss. Now this is a mini-boss. That much I know. Alright, let's, Yeah, okay. I thought he would just... Do I have to shoot him with, like, a... Okay, you gotta wait until he throws the boomerang, and then you can stab his asshole. His beautiful butt cheeks. While he's stunned... He's vulnerable to all sorts of stuff. Being hit by his own boomerang, chiefly. There we go. Ooh. The monkey was not bad. He just had an evil bug up his butt. I guess literally. A bug up his butt? Yeah, that's... Yeah, that's what they did. And hey, we get free item. The item he was using against us, in fact. You freed me from evil. And also from an innocent monkey. Let's go. The Gale Boomerang. It is in Smash Brothers as well, you know. This is where it comes from, and this is the only game where it appears. Pretty sure. Funny that. Yeah, I'll replace the fishing dealy-doo. The fishing rod. Anyway, here's another card. What the fuck? Lock on multiple times. Okay, that's not quite right. Oh, where's the other fans? Weird. I just had to throw it. Okay. Whatever, man. Alright, with this we'll be able to go to new areas and do new things. Brilliant. Let me do another card. Follow up on finding time. I did have an optimistic idea about, like, how much time I'd be able to find now. Being, beneath jobs, and while I have had a busy couple of days, I will admit, like, you know, I've had stuff to do, like, I still haven't figured out the health insurance situation, a couple of things relating to, like, medication and stuff. There's stuff I still have yet to figure out, but, you know, things are getting sorted out, and also, you know, turns out, just like applying to jobs doesn't take all day, so I have a lot of time, actually, it seems like to me. I'm feeling pretty optimistic about, like, finding time to, like, walk and do all the stuff I want to do, you know. And hopefully that'll begin translating over to, like, you know, catching up on various backlogs and things that are, like, backed up. I say, honestly, I still have some laundry that is still, like, in baskets, you know. I tend to keep the clean laundry in the basket for too long, I will say. And, you know, I haven't found time for that yet, and I'm sure I will. I mean, I'll try to before too long. Maybe tomorrow, I don't know. I feel like, once I'm, one, have a lot of time, and two, at multiple times, at once I have a lot of time, and also, like, I'm still trying to get as much out of every day as possible, you know? I'm still in that mindset of, like, okay, it's 2 a.m. Still in that mindset of being like, okay, it's 2 a.m., it's 1 a.m. How many more episodes of anime can I watch tonight? Should I do some of this as well? Should I this or that, or, you know, play some game? I haven't made that much progress on this game lately. I'm still in that mindset where maybe I just need to be relaxing and just, like, taking things as they come. I totally expected that guy to not be blown up by the Gale Boomerang. Maybe you do just have to run it here. I thought it would, like, deliver the guy to you. You'd think that'd be the mechanic, right? Like, oh, it's a bomb thing from a set location. I have a wind dealy-do. Oh, yeah, I'm gonna use it to pull a guy to me. That's not what it do. And of course, on some levels, some of that has to do with, like, the stream. With, like, you know, putting together the next stream, always having the next thing planned, VODs and stuff, clips as well. You know, all that is a bit of work. And, you know, I definitely have to find time to think about that in addition to all the other stuff that's going on, you know? Which is not that hard. Not that hard. And if ever was a problem, I could always just, like, go back. I say go back. Oh, shit! There's another guy right there. That's the solution. I could always just go to, like, a twice-a-week stream schedule. You know? Around the time when I started. You know, around, like, the first 6 months or so. 8 months or so. That was the schedule. Twice a week, Tuesdays and Fridays. And eventually that changed to Tuesday, Thursday, Friday, and then Monday, Thursday, Friday. And thereabouts the schedule has stayed since then, but you know, all of that could change as needed. And, you know, change would probably do me good. How I expected it would work. If the schedule were to change, how would it change? If you, you know, let's just ask that question. How would it change? If it went down to twice a week, Friday will still be viewer levels. I really like that stream. However, I think like either a Monday or a Tuesday stream would be either a playthrough as we are doing now, or be a grab bag stream, consistently like changing it up as desired. You know, I would choose between one or the other, and perhaps there would be whole periods where there was just no ongoing playthrough, just me playing small, manageable chunks of each game. Oh shit, there was like some stuff we had to do in each of these extra rooms, right? Not the one on the left. I think the one on the left is already all good. But this one, we have to get that chest. And by doing that one thing, we have gotten access to a chest. Nice little puzzle. Weird how the pieces of heart are in the dungeon themselves. That's unusual. I can't remember any other Zelda game that has put pieces of heart in an honest-to-God dungeon. Very unusual, that. Anyway, definitely have to think things through and figure out. I say like going down to a 2. Currently, I have no plans to do that, I'll say. I see no reason why I would scale back at this juncture. Maybe I get another job, you know, let's say it's like hybrid, right? Let's say that, you know, one of the reasons why I'm able to do Friday evening viewer levels at 6 p.m. is that, like, I can just very easily roll off work at 5, have, like, a quick meal or something, and then, set up the stream right away. If I had, like, a 30-minute commute in there on Fridays, then, you know, that stream would have to move back. And, you know, other streams on weekdays would also be a little harder. Though, of course, most of those start, like, at, started like 8 p.m., so there's already like kind of plenty of wiggle room already. Still, like, again, working from home means that I can just focus on like a bunch of stuff I want to do before stream. You know, like I could go for a walk, I could have some a meal of significant size. Because, you know, working from home is a big part of like why I was able to like start streaming 2 years ago, you know, without it really impacting things that heavily. Which I guess is true of a lot of people. Like during the pandemic, a lot of people started streaming for pretty much exactly the same reason. Well, you know, the same situation, the same starting point, I guess. I don't know exactly same reason is the right way to put it, you know. Like I would say I started streaming because I wanted to show off my Mario Maker levels and like show off the process, and also because I had seen viewer level streams before and I thought they were fun to watch. You know, I thought it was the first time of Twitch stream that I got into and like actually watched. No, not to say I didn't watch. Not to say I didn't watch video content before Twitch. You know, I watched a lot of Giant Bomb and other YouTuber type things, you know, like Red Letter Media. I used to watch a lot of like Nostalgia Critic and Spoonie back in the day. Day 9 watched a bunch of him. I guess Day 9 were Twitch streams as well. But I think I watched the YouTube VOD specifically. I can't remember actually if I watched Day 9 on Twitch or if I watched it on YouTube, him on YouTube. But like AGQ, Mario Maker, those are my two like introductions to like streaming, and just made sense of things that things I wanted to try and give a shot and, you know, make good, I guess. Make good content on. Anyway, as far as time goes, I'm thinking about that stuff. I'm trying to make sure that we're, and I'm hoping that, like, you know, next couple days, this will be, like, my schedule will regularize, and maybe I will, like, finally relax a little bit, and let myself just play a video game, you know? Let myself just watch an anime, not like, push into the night, out of some, like, misplaced desire to optimize things, you know? To be like, let me get another half hour here before I have to sleep. Get another half hour. Like, no, right now it doesn't matter at all. In fact, it's important that you don't do that, so that, you know, things don't get screwy. You know, you can sleep as much as you want, right? I can sleep, schedule of interviewers notwithstanding, you know. Job hunt stuff notwithstanding, I can sleep as much as I want. But I don't want that to be an excuse to just stay up all night, you know? The thing about staying up all night is that it's an alluring thing, you know, and it's just very tempting on a day-to-day basis to just, like, push further and further into the night, see a little bit more, get a little bit more done every night, but when it comes right down to it, I have been awake really late at night, and I've had my sleep schedule be, like, off by a good degree before, and the reality is that it's really boring at night. You know, really deep at night. No one is on your Discords. You know, they're very dead. There's not much going on as far as, like, yeah, you know, there's no one to talk to. All you can do is, like, watch videos and, you know, fucking chill, I guess. You can watch videos during normal daylight hours, you know, and that also means you can chat with people and, you know, hang out as much as you hang out on a Discord, insofar as you do that. Let's destroy that. How come that didn't work earlier? I knew you had to do that, but it didn't work earlier, so I wasn't expecting it to just work then. Oh. This must not be the solution. There's a hole in the ceiling. We have to drop down. Like 11:30 right now. Pretty good pace for like a nice 4-hour first installment, whatever. I guess that won't be fast enough to go to Wingstop, but again, I gotta stop thinking about things in terms of like, gotta do it now, you know? Don't gotta do it now. Do it later. Do it tomorrow. Do it like in the afternoon even. Doesn't have to be a whole thing, you know? I'll say I am having some, like, frustrations now insofar as, like, some healthcare stuff turned out to be more complicated than I expected. Which I suppose I should have seen coming. I had, like, a certain sort of foam that's usually really expensive. And, some pharmacies have been able to get it for me for really cheap. And it turned out that, like, I was just fresh out just now. I thought I had some, like, in a drawer or something, like, collecting dust, but it turns out I've used what I had, and what else I had is, you know, lost its foaminess, you know? It's just a liquid now. No longer foams properly. Which, yeah, it doesn't work. I don't know if that's because I've used it all, pretty much, or if it's just like, yeah, this spent too long on a shelf. It can no longer foam. But whichever way it is, I was able to find, like, sorry, just touched the microphone. I was able to find a pharmacy that had it for really cheap, so I figured, like, oh shit, let me just call, you know what, I'll just call the dermatologist and ask them to send over the thing. And, they started giving me some shit. Basically saying, like, oh, you know, it's been 6 months, so our policy is we want to see you again before we send the prescription to another place, which I could not believe my fucking ears on that. Like, what in the fucking fuck do you mean? It's the same as it has been for the last 5 years. I need it as much as I've needed it for the last 5 years. Previous dermatologists agree. What the fuck? And to be clear, like, I was really unsatisfied with the last time I went to this dermatologist, you know? They just basically, like, looked at, you know, stuff and told me things I already knew and then charged me $200, and that was with insurance, you know? I was at the job at that time. So the idea of, like, yeah, you're gonna cost me $1,000 just to get me something that I already have? Fucking no way. And I was able to tell them, like, look, I never cashed it in the first place because the pharmacy that I called told me it'd be like $200 with insurance. Which I said, like, God, no, I'm not paying that. I actually don't need it right this instant. You know? And with that in mind, they were able to give me, like, okay, well, why don't we just give you the pharmacy in question, and you can call, and I called them, and the pharmacy that it was originally sent to, and, you know, hopefully now it's all being sent to the new pharmacy, and I'll hear that I'll be able to get it. And, you know, have that stuff again. That good stuff that is helpful to have. Not gonna go into details as to, like, why, but suffice to say, it's good for me. And if it gets out of control, if I just ignore it for too long, which I have been doing recently, you know. I mean, that's why I've had a stockpile, because, you know, sometimes I'm able to just ignore it and just, like, it's fine for a while, but then it's not fine and it needs to be taken care of. Fucking annoying. I'm sure, I'll say, by the way, I do, I guess, plan on being insured. I just don't know yet, working out, like, what exactly is the best option in the interim. You know, I don't know how that shit works. I haven't been unemployed in 10 years, you know? So I'm just figuring it out. I guess as would anyone. I thought that would do it. Why didn't that do it? There we go. Anyway, that's enough talk about, you know, not fun stuff. Let's talk about fun stuff. In particular... Okay! Okay, you know what, that's... You know what, that's fine. I can boomerang it to me, and then throw it in the maw. Like I should have gotten a compass by now. Maybe this will be the compass. Here is another card. Show pics of my dad's dog, Rex. Have some pics here of my dad's dog, Rex. He's a good boy. He's a good man. Isn't he cute? He's a big old, you know, Wheaton or whatever. He's 15 years old. And, you know, he's not doing great right now, I'll say. And it's kind of sad to think that, like, you know, his days may be numbered. Here's another shot of him. He's a sweet boy. Took that the other day. Managed to get him on the couch, which apparently he hasn't been feeling up to climbing onto for, like, the last few months, which, yeah, that's not a great sign, I guess. But he enjoyed being up on the couch, and I'll tell you, when you give him, like, scratches on, like, the sides of his head, he'll just, like, lean all the way into it. And if you, like, switch sides on him, he'll lean all the way into the other side, which, is just sweet. Well, he's in his final days now. I'll miss him when he's gone. I'll say, you know, we were talking about, being between jobs. You know, say I get a new job and it's, you know, one thing I'd really like to have in the future would be a house. And if I got a house, I would get a dog. I feel like you gotta have a house to have a dog. I know people do that. You know, plenty of people in my apartment do without, but yeah, it's a whole full-time job to take care of a dog in an apartment. You know, every time they gotta poop or pee, you gotta walk them. You know, you can't just say like, okay, go out the door and take care of your business. You know, you have to literally escort them to the place where they can poop. You know, and make sure 100% every time that their business is taken care of on the spot. You know, versus like if they're pooping in the backyard, take care of it in time, I guess. I don't know. Maybe if you have a small backyard, you take care of it immediately. And I think, like, you know, most people these days, most new houses have really small backyards. They save space these days. You know, on all of that. We have all the monkeys. We are one monkey short. Anyway, I'd get a dog. Not a cat. I think cats are cute, but I'm kind of allergic to them, and also, I don't know. Dog is man's best friend, you know, gives kisses, affection. I like that, you know. Cats can be affectionate, can be sweet on you, you know. My dad has a couple of cats that are pretty sweet. One of them is sweet only on him, you know, sort of, only likes him, essentially. No one else, really, and just really just wants to sleep all day. And the other one is just, like, absurdly friendly, you know. Whenever I walk in, he does the thing where he, you know, walks by me, you know, sort of like brushes by my leg. I know that's an affectionate cat move that cats do all the time. He does that all the time. It's great. He's a lovely boy. He's a lovely man. I feel like Rex gets to be the boy for life. Will, on the other hand, the cat, gets to be the man. Even though he's like 2 years old. Maybe between 1 and 2 years old. Somewhere in that neighborhood. This guy is shielding himself. You have to, like, point, you sort of have to do the stab, you have to sort of push in the direction that the enemy is in, not necessarily forward, you know, directly, per se. Ugh. How about another card? Watch some older Batman films. Those are on Amazon Prime right now. Or maybe they'll be off pretty soon, for what it's worth. But, watched a couple of them as Twitch watch parties over the weekend. I've never seen those. I've never seen Batman. Watched Batman and Robin and Batman Forever. Never seen either of them. My only exposure to them was through, like, a Nostalgia Critic, which, you know, back in the day I did take seriously. But, you know, more recently I will acknowledge that he was playing it up most of the time, and that I probably should not take his rantings as to say, like, oh, these were terrible, awful movies, you know? The Bat credit card was a joke. Don't take it so seriously. Like, why are you getting so mad? It's just a dumb joke. They're corny cheeseball movies, but they're a bit of fun. I don't know. I'll say they're not really my jam. Hylian N. Okay, whatever. I'll take it. I'll say that they're not really quite my jam, but they're fun enough. The older Batman movies. I'll say this. I'll say this. I prefer the Nolan movies, but like the Batman, that was an order of magnitude worse than either of those ones that I saw. Like, the other day. Batman and Robin, I'd put that way above, the Batman, and, Batman Forever, also way above the Batman. As for a favorite, maybe Batman and Robin, I don't know. That was a better one, or at least it was a lot less boring, than, it was less boring, marginally, than, Batman Forever, which was kind of boring. At the very least, Batman Forever had Jim Carrey doing some Jim Carrey-ass shit. And I guess it had nothing as ridiculous as Poison Ivy just, like, kissing on dudes and, like, hypnotizing them instantly and just, like, come on. You know, you see that shit and you just go, like, wow, they really just, like, made this for 5-year-olds, you know. I don't mean to like to besmirch 5-year-olds or whatever, but you know, it does feel like it's insulting your intelligence a little bit. Insofar as like, yeah, they're really just like, it's like a fucking cartoon. The stuff with Halle Berry and was it Halle Berry? I don't know actresses. I don't know actresses from the 80s so much. Hey, we made it to the boss fight. How about that? Good shit. Let's do this. I wonder if I end the stream before Wingstop closes, if I could call in an order right before they close and they'll pick it up whenever, you know, like after midnight. That seems well possible if I beat this guy in like 5-10 minutes, let's say. That sounds like a good idea to me, but it probably won't work out. I'll get wings tomorrow, it'll be fine. Yeah, I'll get wings tomorrow. I also need to do stuff, you know, outside the house tomorrow. Outside the home, outside the apartment tomorrow. It's hard to say apartment in a sentence. It doesn't as naturally fit as house does. That's one of the reasons why you don't want to live in an apartment forever. It just doesn't roll off the tongue. In the UK, they don't have this problem. They say flat. That rolls off the tongue in a way that apartment does not. Why come we don't have a nice knit word to refer to apartments? Maybe just because, you know, we don't want to live in them forever. You know, we don't want it to ever feel natural to say apartments. Is that weird? I don't know. I'll say one more thing. I watched one other movie. I watched Midnight Run. Cheesy film from the 80s. About like a guy who is like a bounty hunter trying to get a guy from New York to whoops. I need to lock on the second location before dialing it in. Trying to get a guy home from, like, New York to, trying to get a guy from New York to LA, and a bunch of wacky shit ensues. Oh shit, you can just hit him in the head. You don't have to hit him in the business. A bunch of wacky shit ensues. Such that it takes him a while, and also there's all these bounty hunters coming after him, and like assassins and like mafioso type guys. And it's kind of fun. I did feel like it went way too long. It did go way entirely too long. It went way entirely too long, I think. The movie, it really felt its length at 2 hours. I feel like it could have cut like 30 minutes, and also a lot of the like action was undercut by some really cheeseball like wacky Dukes of Hazzard style like music that just made you go like, what the fuck is this tone? You know, we're bounty hunters and like assassins are trying to kill you, and we're just doing like the boys are at it again type music. It's strange. Anyway, that's like a 3 out of 5. It's alright. I don't know. For the Batman movies, if I were to rate them, I don't usually rate movies, I'll say. 3 out of 5? Yeah, sure, they're alright. They're both alright. 3 out of 5's all around. Hey, we got a thing. It's a fused shadow. It's not really important. It doesn't really amount to much. It's like a whole thing late game. There's only 3 of them, huh? Oh, I like this warp pad that she makes. I like that it's just like a new version of that warp pad that's been around for the last couple of games. I miss that warp pad. It was a cool design for a warp pad. There we go. Folks, I think that'll do for tonight. Oh, look, I even get a chance. It even, like, asked me if I want to save, which that's great. Last time I didn't save, and that was a mistake. Let's talk to this guy, and then be done. Do not think Hyrule is saved. Leave these woods, go to the east, and you will find the spirits Elden. There you will find those who you seek. But those lands lie in Twilight, so you'll have to do the thing again. The grapes and such. No. Yepers, that's what we're gonna do. Okay, folks. I'm going to go ahead and wrap this up. There is 13 minutes, I guess, until Wingstop closes, but it'd be silly to drive out to Wingstop right now and then have to do something else outside the apartment tomorrow and not do the two things at once. Wouldn't it? It would be. In any case, we're gonna end here tonight. This has been Replaying Twilight Princess HD, the first installment thereof. I'll come up with a cool, funny name for it, I'm sure, sometime before the VOD goes up tomorrow in 24 hours. Which, you know, that's the requirement for Twitch affiliates to, you know, Twitch affiliates can't post videos to other services before 24 hours are up, excluding TikTok. They can do TikTok, but I don't do TikTok. I will see y'all. I'll be back on Thursday. I'm thinking Kirby and the Amazing Mirror. Let's just do a bit of that and have that be that. That's a great game. I love that game, and maybe we'll play some online. I'll reach out to some people I know, see if they're interested in playing some with me. Fridays, 6 p.m. Central, will be viewer levels as per normal. Additional streams possible on whim. I will say, I was thinking about doing a making stream. I'm thinking right now, let's just hold off on that. Let's just relax. Let's just stay I'm just gonna focus on, like, you know, job hunt stuff and other life type things for now. I'm gonna wait until things settle down before I do a kickoff for the next level. And specifically, I'm thinking, like, maybe not in the next 2 weeks for kicking off the next level. The 38th level of my super world, which, you know, hey, just 3 left. We'll see how fast we can do those. If that's this year, if that's next year, I don't know. It'll be done when it's done. Anyway, I believe I will see y'all on Thursday. Thanks for dropping by, for hanging out, for following whatever you like to do. Let me go ahead and do the raid. Let me see who's online and who I want to send you to. There's quite a few people online right now. Kitsuna is doing viewer levels. I don't really feel like viewer levels right now. Birdie V. I'm gonna say Birdie V. Also, Birdie V appears to be playing Smash Brothers on a map that's on the bridge map from this game. So that's a funny coincidence. Let me go ahead and get ready to send you off. I gotta be ready to do it. Okay, I'm ready to go. Okay, folks, let's go ahead and call it a night. I'll be back tomorrow, or sorry, on Thursday. Yeah, I said tomorrow. Thursday evening for Kirby and the Amazing Mirror. Friday at 6 p.m. will be viewer levels, and if you're looking for more Twilight Princess HD, next Monday, 8 p.m. Central, is when we will resume and continue and hopefully go as far as like another dungeon's worth. I don't know. That seems like a reasonable thing to expect for another stream. I wonder if at any point we'll be able to do multiple dungeons in a single stream of this. Maybe not while they're being like 4 hours long. Okay, I'm gonna open Birdie V's stream on my phone here. Make sure the volume is off, and yeah, totally on the Twilight Princess stage right now. Very good timing. All right, folks, I will see y'all on Thursday for Kirby. Friday viewer levels, more Zelda next Monday. Thursday, 8 p.m. Central. Kirby, amazing mirror, fantastic game, maybe multiplayer. Bye.